Misses low and in. A&M is going for a sweep. They won game one 6-4 last night in a nearly 5-hour marathon. They won that one 11-7. Cole Kaler leads off. He's now the starting shortstop, an Arizona native at a Queen Creek High School who started his college career at Hawaii. And Kaler getting an opportunity because Kalai Harrison, who had been the starting shortstop at Texas A&M, a Hawaii native by chance, is out with an injury.
Yeah, A&M's had to shuffle some guys around. The third baseman out, shortstop out, so he moved some guys around. But I tell you what, they have been clean on defense in this series, have not made an error yet. You look at their fielding percentage, it's right towards the top of the SEC.
The series goes back a long way, back to 1907. Of course, the big one in 1988. My partner played a key role in that one. Aggies fans rolling their eyes right now that we brought that up again. Denied him a chance to make it to Omaha, but A&M has never swept LSU since they joined the SEC. Kaler goes down on a strikeout. Good start for Hilliard. And here's how LSU lines up defensively. And to be quite frank, it has not been pretty. 33 errors this season for LSU, including 4 in this series. That is dead last in the SEC. The next most errors, 11 fewer.
Yeah. Well, it's been a concern, and LSU had hoped to clean that up by the time of SEC play turned around. It did not work out. Last night was a perfect example. LSU gives up 5 unearned runs in last night's game.
Here's Austin Bose. He's riding a 4-game hit streak. He's reached base safely in 17 consecutive games. Junior from Groves, Texas, and sends a line shot to left. Bose with a leisurely stroll to first and a 1-out single. And that'll bring Jack Moss to the plate. To the heart of the order, red hot for A&M. Bose now has a 5-game hitting streak. Jack Moss has hit safely in 6. He's 3 for 9 this weekend.
Yeah, you mentioned the numbers, Tom. A&M pretty much dead last in every offensive category coming into this weekend. But that's not been the case so far. I mean, they came in 2 games, scored 17 runs, 22 hits, and hitting over 300 in these 2 games.
Moss, one of those transfers you referred to. Last year he was playing at Arizona State, where he's a second-team freshman All-America on a Pac-12 academic team. He hit .341 in Pac-12 play. So certainly the guys in the LSU dugout familiar with him. Jay Johnson, LSU's first-year head coach, came from their rival Arizona, where he took the Wildcats to Omaha multiple times. Moss came out of Cherry Creek High School in the Denver area as one of the top-rated prospects in the state of Colorado. He was the Gatorade Baseball Player of the Year in 2020. And he sends a shot to center. This one's going to drop in front of Dylan Cruz. A&M's got runners at first and second. Bose trying to go to third. That throw is high into the dugout fence and allow a second 90 for Moss. Nolan Kane, the third base coach for A&M. They are pushing LSU, and they have forced him in to their first error of the game.
Yeah, Austin Bose just ran right in the face of Dylan Cruz. You see the ball going out to Dylan Cruz. He circles it, gets behind it, comes up with a big throw. And Jordan Thompson on the relay, it's a good throw. But right there, a good throw would get the lead runner at third base. Instead, Texas A&M second and third now, and only 1 out. And there's your defense already.
Yeah. So an extra 90 in the back end of Moss. 2 in scoring position for Troy Claunch. That is the 9th error of the season of the very talented shortstop, Jordan Thompson. Claunch, another Pac-12 product. He was at Oregon State. Native of Vacaville, California. He's been behind the plate the first 2 games of this series for A&M. Was first team all-conference in the Pac-12 last year for the Beavers. Hit .305 with 4 home runs. And part of the national championship team in 2018.
Well, this is where A&M's been good in this series. Last night alone, 3 times they had sacrifice flies. When you don't need a base hit to score a run, you're able to do it. It's big.
It just kind of strikes me, Ben, looking at multiple Pac-12 transfers for A&M. Of course, Barry, big-time transfer from Arizona, also out of the Pac-12. With now the chance to move leagues without having to sit out a year. Everything the SEC brings to the table. I mean, you've got two coaches in either dugout that wanted badly to get in the SEC.
Yeah, players are wanting, and even from the West Coast, when you didn't see a lot of West Coast guys coming to the SEC, even 10 years ago or so, now they want to be a part of it. The crowds obviously are bigger, the competition is better, and we know at the big league level, when we look at conferences in the big leagues and stars in the big leagues, the majority of those guys are coming from the SEC.
It kind of started just a few years ago with the high school kids. You think of Kalai Harrison from Hawaii, came to A&M. Jacob Gonzalez, a shortstop at Ole Miss, is a California kid. And now those recruiting pipelines open to active players, not just high school kids, but guys who have already played on the West Coast in college. Into center, but shallow. Cruz challenging, charging. It drops in front. His throw home is late. And a sac fly, as you mentioned, gets Austin Boast across the plate, and A&M with a 1-0 lead. Pardon me, clean single, and Moss ends up at third.
Yeah, ball kind of hit off the bat, so it's a big swing. Dylan Cruz one step back, thinking that ball is going to carry a little bit. Instead, it drops down. He comes up and throws it home, but not in time. And look, I'm going to tell you, this has been Texas A&M in this series, the ability to put the ball in play. They came in as the second most strikeouts offensively in anybody in the conference, but yet they've only struck out 13 times so far into the third game now.
It wasn't a great start to the season for Texas A&M, especially when you consider what Jim Schlossnagle has had to piece together due to all the injuries. So already a series victory and going for the sweep. This is an A&M program that in February lost 2 out of 3 at home to Penn. Lost a game to Washington State and to Wichita State. And had lost 2 out of 3 coming into this one. Middle of the series against Santa Clara, then midweek against Houston. Brett Minnick is a junior from Colleyville, Texas, out of Colleyville Heritage High School and then Blinn Junior College. Second year in the program, was a 26-game starter last year. Upstairs, Tyler McManus is the catcher for Mikael Hilliard. Still without their starting catcher. LSU dealing with injuries of their own.
Yeah, and look, Texas A&M is taking advantage of that. One of the things they do well offensively is run. 30 stolen bases on the year. That's second best in the SEC. They swiped 5 bags alone just last night.
McManus has yet to throw anybody out on the season in 7 attempts. Is that the changeup from Hilliard?
Yep. Something new from Mikael Hilliard. Always been a fastball, breaking ball kind of guy, but the changeup is new this year, and the slider is new as well. So going from a 2-pitch to a 4-pitch mix for the senior right-hander.
Jason Kelly is the first-year pitching coach for LSU in the fall. He forced all of his pitchers to learn the changeup, even if they didn't necessarily all put it into use in the rotation. Another curveball misses up, 3-1.
Well, that was a big emphasis of Jason Kelly. LSU's pitching staffs the last 3 or 4 years have not what we saw them to be maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Way too many walks. They put a big emphasis on, hey, we cannot beat ourselves with walk. We got to create contact. Now, having said that, LSU walked 10 last night, by far their worst pitching performance of the year.
10 walks plus A&M pounded out 12 hits in an 11-7 win. Tigers had fought to tie it in the 8th, and then LSU came back with a 4-run top of the 9th.
Yeah, both of these games so far in this series, Tom, have been tied going into the top of the 9th inning. A&M scored 2 on Friday night to win that one, and a big inning last night in the top of the 9th.
That was a 4-hour and 52-minute game. Did you get any sleep?
None. I just slept here.
You got a cot? That must be the longest cot ever made. Another attempt for Hilliard over to first. Claunch only has 1 stolen base on the season. Moss is the runner at third.
Yeah, Friday night's game over 4 hours, and we backed that up with one approaching 5 hours last night.
A lot of press box hot dogs, my man. Not going. Pitch is lined into right field. A&M's going to pour it on here in the first. Moss comes around to score. RBI single for Brett Minnick, just his second hit this weekend, and A&M's up 2-0.
Pretty good piece of hitting by Minnick right here. And this is what we've seen. I think Texas A&M, a team I've seen this year, obviously 11 home runs on the year. Tom, power is not their game, but they do know what to do. It's short, tight swings to the baseball. They know who they are as a hitting unit, and they're not worried about hitting home runs. If they come, they come, but they're going to beat you by just simple base hits, putting bat on ball. And look, they've been really good at that so far in this series.
Early visit from Jay Johnson, first-year head coach, came in with a sterling resume, took Arizona to the College World Series last year. They knocked off Ole Miss in the Super Regional. What's this conversation like?
I think it's about minimizing damage. The balls have been up in the strike zone for me for Mikal here. He obviously does not possess a big arm. It's a mid-80s to upper 80s fastball is what it is, but he has to work it down in the zone, and the breaking ball for him is the key. But again, even if you got a high spin rate breaking ball, you can really shape it. It's got to be down in the zone as well. And for me, everything has been elevated so far.
14 pitchers, I believe, first 2 games of the series for LSU. I can't imagine the bullpen has much depth to it today.
No, there may be a couple of guys that could come back. Maybe Razelman, who pitched on Friday night, he could probably give you an inning. But I know LSU was hoping that Mikal Hilliard could give them 5 or 6 innings and get to the bullpen and make it more manageable.
Brian DeBrouwer is our home plate umpire. He went out there to break things up, and Jay Johnson just kept talking. Not going to get me to hang up on his phone call. Jay said, I got some things to say. That was a long meeting. Here's Dylan Rock. Rock transferred into A&M from Texas San Antonio. He's a senior from Sugar Land out of George Ranch High School. Actually pursuing his grad degree. 175 games over 4 seasons with the Roadrunners. And he sends this one to third. To second for 1, on to first, and a 5-4-3 around the horn. LSU needed that. Merrifield to Doty to Morgan, and we'll see Morgan, Doty, Cruz to the plate for LSU in the first.
Carvana's had a lot of firsts. 100% online car buying, car vending machines, and now putting you in control of your financing. At Carvana, get personalized terms, browse for cars that fit your budget, then customize your down payment and monthly payment. And these aren't made-up numbers. It's what you'll really pay, right down to the penny. Whether you're shopping or just looking, it only takes a few seconds and it won't affect your credit score. Finally, a totally different way to finance your ride. Only from Carvana.
Teaching her how to drive. But Dad, why not use Greenlight to help her save for her own car? Mowing lawns, getting paid. Oh, smoothies. Is that strawberry? Soon, she'll go from washing your car to flexing with her own. Even better, teach her how to invest in cars. Together, you can navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing. Because when you teach her how to be smart about money, she'll go far. Real far. Invest in your best investment. Greenlight.
4 straight one-out singles for Texas A&M, and the Aggies have a 2-0 lead as we head to the home half of the first here at Alec Stadium. Tom Hart with Ben McDonald. 13th ranked LSU trying to salvage a win in this 3-game series. This is a power-hitting lineup that is loaded with prospects. 4th in the SEC in home runs. They've already knocked 5 of them out this series.
Yeah, and look, they've stretched the long ball out in this series, but they also struck out 15 times last night in the ball game. So you love the home runs, obviously, but you also want to see more balls put in play to create more action, because we know at the collegiate level, errors are made all the time. And where A&M has not struck out much and found ways to put ball in play, LSU's kind of been all or nothing to this point. But it's a lineup that can scare you. When you got to roll through Trey Morgan, all he did last year as a true freshman in the SEC was hit .390, second best out of anybody. Then, of course, Cade Doty's 3rd in the SEC in RBIs. And then you get to Cruz and Jacob Berry, who are probably your best 2 pro prospects on this team.
Some of these guys have struggled, Morgan, Berry, and Thompson to be specific this weekend. Ryan Prager gets the ball to start things off for Texas A&M. Freshman out of Dallas Hillcrest High School. Senior year at Hillcrest, He threw 2 no-hitters over an 8-game span, including a perfect game. He was a valedictorian at Hillcrest, and he comes in with an ERA. It's 4th best in the SEC and a batting average against 2nd best as he makes his 5th start. This is a little bit different, though, Ben. This is the SEC.
This is the SEC, but they really like this kid. They think he's got a lot of pitchability. He comes to campus with a real 4-pitch mix. I mean, it's a fastball that's upper 80s, low 90s, a couple of different breaking balls, and a changeup as well. And when you talk about the analytical world, he can really spin it, Tom. He's got a high spin rate fastball, and so what that creates is a ball that just kind of stays on plane a little bit longer.
4-seamers gaining popularity in the analytics department over the last few years.
Yeah, and the scouting report on LSU is, okay, we got to try to get to the top of the fastball because your eyes deceive you. When a ball stays on plane a little bit longer, it just doesn't quite come down at the normal rate you would think it was. So the approach for LSU on the fastball is really attempt to try to hit a ground ball. Try to get to the top of the ball if you can.
Popped out of play by Morgan, who's looking for his first hit this series. Morgan 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts. Had a great freshman year last year. Sophomore from New Orleans. Talented defensive first baseman. He needs a Taylor, though, Ben. Go to Harper's Haberdashery because my man's got to fix the pocket issue. You had a word with him today.
Yeah, we always see this look from Trey Morgan last year a lot. It's just a superstitious thing of him. That right pocket is always turned inside out and it's hanging down. I noticed the first 2 games of this series, it was actually tucked in. And I said, dude, is that pocket sewed in or what? What's going on? He said, it'll be out today. And he's got it out today. So I guess he was just trying some stuff,
We need somebody to sew it out. I mean, if I were him, I'd say let's just sew this to the pant leg and make sure it never ends up inside again.
Well, what a freshman year he had.
And he rips one to center field that is caught head high by Logan Britt. Good contact by the struggling Morgan, and that'll bring Cade Doty to the plate.
Yeah, and that 0 for 10 now for Trey Morgan is a little bit deceiving. He's done that about 3 times in this series and hit it right on the button. Unfortunately for him and LSU, it's gone directly to some of the outfielders.
Now for the Tigers, second baseman, number 4, Cade Doty.
Doty's been a great run producer for LSU this year. On the tops in the SEC with 28 ribbies. And he looks at a first pitch fastball just off the plate.
Yeah, Doty's been kind of sitting, and look, he's hit everywhere in this lineup. He's hit anywhere from 2 to 4, most of the year in that 4 spot, but he's kind of been letting Trey Morgan and Dylan Cruz and Jacob Berry get on in front of him, and he has been driving them in. Those 28 RBIs you mentioned, 3rd best in the SEC.
6'2", 195, 3rd-year sophomore from Ben's hometown, Denham Springs, Louisiana. What kind of growth have you seen from him?
Always could play, and when I coached him when he was younger at 12 and 13, he was always a guy that matured a little bit early, but always had a good feel for the game. Really good bat-to-ball skills, doesn't strike out very often, and a plus player. And he just keeps getting a little bit stronger, more experienced, been a Team USA guy, so he's really played at the amateur level, about the highest level you could play.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 1 for Prager. 1 down, and here's one of the top prospects in the game, Dylan Cruz, who's 4th in the SEC in hits, 11th in the league with a .382 average.
Yeah, we talk around and everybody throws around the 5 tools thing, but this is a real 5-tool player. I mean, he can really run, got a cannon for an arm, really get some nice reads most of the time defensively. Boy, hit for average and, of course, can hit for power, Tom. And when it comes off the bat, it just sounds a little bit different than most.
He first got here, Paul Maneri, then the head coach, obviously, at LSU, said, you know what, he doesn't look or act like a freshman.
Well, from a maturity standpoint, I mean, he's got a body kind of like Mike Trout's got. It's a different kind of body, and he had that at 17 years old.
Ryan Prager's pitching like he's got a flight to catch. I like it. 1 and 2 now to Cruz.
Yeah, the pitch clock's got no shot so far today.
That's low 2 and 2 to Cruz, who wanted always to come to LSU, Florida native. He said, my ultimate dream, go to LSU, be an icon, be a dude there.
Yeah.
Want to get drafted out of college. It's part of his whole process and plan. Strike three inside. Back-to-back Ks for the freshman Prager. 1-2-3 frame for LSU. A&M working with a 2-0 lead through one.
Teaching him to ride a bike? That's parenting 101. But mom, get Greenlight and teach him what it takes to buy a bike. Nice shot. Crushing chores, getting paid, and buying a, ooh, cool bike. Then, teach him how to buy stock in a bike company. Teach him how to be smart about money, and he'll go far.
Super far! Oh, hey, Mom!
Navigate the world of money together. Invest in your best investment. Greenlight.
I mean, seriously, guys, isn't it strange that with all of us in this giant Sirius XM house with like 100 bedrooms,
Live recording studios?
Miniature basketball court for Kevin Hart?
and only one bathroom?
There better be hot water left, Brent!
No, I'm gonna be late for my show.
It's Brett Bubble time!
Hurry up!
You're not the only host that lives here, Brett.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana, enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Welcome to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Skip Bergman Field inside Alec Box Stadium.
I love playing at the box. I think we have the best fans in the country. I think we have the best field.
Knowing what the box is like, it's going to be pretty cool to go back. They had some pretty rowdy fans, and the stadium's awesome.
Once you get down here and you kind of, you can feel the atmosphere and the culture.
They have a history of having some great crowds, so that's something that I look forward to.
Is a great atmosphere here in Red Stick, and a first pitch swing for Ryan Targach. And Targach, grounds out to short, one down. Talking with Jim Schlossnagle before the game today, he said, especially when I was at Tulane, I'd been to the old box a million times, but had never been here. And it's different, and it's different first time especially. I know you're used to it.
The crowds have been good, really good. Friday night was packed, Saturday was packed, but that's what you're seeing in the SEC now. I mean, you look around the country and the top attendance figures, you talk about LSU and Arkansas and Mississippi State and Ole Miss. I mean, it could be 10,000, and it is almost every weekend game.
Here's Taylor Smith. He's getting the start behind the plate today for Texas A&M. With Claunch over at first, junior from Georgetown, Texas. He came out of Gateway Prep as a high school senior. He started his college career at Incarnate Word and then Grayson Junior College. Was a freshman All-American his first year out of high school. Led the Southland Conference in home runs and had a game against Notre Dame where he went 4 for 6 with 2 home runs and 5 ribbies as a freshman. That'll open your eyes to what your potential could be. Little dribbler up the line. This one's going to stay fair. Hilliard tried to grab it, and he plays it into a single for Taylor Smith. Was that thing going to come back down across the chalk?
Well, you can't chance it. I mean, you got to go. I thought Hilliard got a little bit of a late jump on the ball. I think Trey Morgan thought it was going to go foul too. But if you're Hilliard, I mean, the only chance you got is either barehanded or to try to scoop it with your glove all in one motion. But the idea, I think, is to sell out. Don't worry about getting run over. I know you don't want to get run over, but you got to sell out. Trey Morgan just hoping the ball gets to him, but not in time. And not much you can do about that. Just cued right off the end of the bat, and I mean perfectly placed down the line.
That's an error on Hilliard. It's the second error of the game on LSU. You got to break out the wideout. You had it as a single in your scorebook, huh?
Yeah, I would call that a little extraordinary play.
Ooh, that was close. We got a balk, though, on Hilliard. And so Taylor Smith given second. Jeff Wright is the first base umpire. He had that call.
Yeah, let's take a look and see if Mikael Hilliard maybe buckled that front leg, that left leg, before he actually made the move over. That's what the call was, the buckle of the knee. Now, I didn't see it to be that blatant, to be honest with you. That looked like a normal pickoff move to me.
A&M had 4 straight singles in the first inning to build a 2-0 lead, and now Smith reaches on an error, takes second on a balk, and the 9-hole hitter Logan Britt has a chance to advance him.
And that would be a cross-up.
Not the first runner at second base.
This will wake you up. Look like expecting breaking ball and gets a heater kind of up and in, and McManus does all he can do just to keep it in front.
It's usually where Q-tips go, not fastballs.
See him spreading those legs out. He's expecting that breaking ball, fastball up and in.
Different set of signs with the runner at second per inning, or do you usually stick with it until you change it?
I normally stick with it to change it. You know, now you get enough guys out there in one inning, you get 2 or 3 different guys out there. Yes, it's too much, and they can kind of start to pick it up, so then you may change it. It looked like McManus has got fingers going and a lot of taps going too. So he's tapping chest, face mask, touches. So that might be an indicator, okay, on what sign.
Britt 1 for 7 this weekend with 4 strikeouts, and he looks at one in for strike 2.
Well, that's the bread and butter for Mikael Hilliard, that big overhand breaking ball. And while it's not a high velocity stuff when you look at Mikael Hilliard, but you look at his career numbers, Tom, in 189 innings pitched coming into today, 193 strikeouts. So it tells you the off-speed stuff is pretty good.
4th start of the season for Hilliard. Came in with 12 strikeouts against only 2 walks. Britt sends it up the middle, played perfectly by Doty, and he fires to first for out number 2. Well positioned, but Smith advances to third on the ground out.
Well, outstanding play by Cade Doty. And you're right, positioning was right on the money. This ball is right back at you, and I mean melted. A breaking ball. Watch out, Mikael Hilliard. There's Cade Doty sliding towards the second base side. A nice throw over to Trey Morgan. And that's the thing about this LSU defense. While it's been as bad as it has, and it's 2 errors already today, the potential is to be good. Because you look around the infield, take Jack Merrifield is at third right now. He was the National Defensive Player of the Year in junior college last year. Trey Morgan has a lot of talent at shortstop. Cade Doty is very talented as well. And you talk about Trey Morgan, you know, and he's probably one of the better defending first basemen, certainly in the SEC.
Yeah.
So it has a chance, and you get Alex Milazzo back behind home plate, who's your best throw and catch guy, and the defense has a chance. So no problems with the outfield. The guys in the outfield can go pretty good.
You say that, but there's been multiple drop fly balls this week.
It's been weird. I mean, Gavin Dugas dropped the fly ball. Drew Bianco misread a ball in game 1 of this series, a ball that should have been caught that wasn't, led to a big inning, you know. And so
Giovanni DiGiacomo dropped one.
Giacomo dropped one on Friday night as well. So yeah, some guys that typically, I mean, Drew Bianco's sure-handed as they come, and normally DiGiacomo is as well. But for whatever reason, you've heard about hitting slumps, pitching slumps. Well, LSU is in a defensive slump right now.
Cole Kaler at the plate, pitch up, 2 balls and a strike. He struck out on a drop strike 3 his first time up. Getting his start at shortstop. Kalai Harrison is injured. Nice to bring in a guy from the University of Hawaii who was a Brooks Wallace Award semifinalist last year and a 3rd-team All-American. That's how he developed depth. That one hit him. 3rd hit batter of the season for Hilliard in 16 innings pitched. Runners at the corners.
Yeah, trying to get that little cut fastball on the inside part, and I mean just barely. Looks like it grazes the left thigh of Cole Kaler.
I don't know it did.
Kaler was kind of looking around like, yeah, it might have. Maybe. I might try to sneak down there.
Did you see it? Because I'll take it. And it brings Austin Bose to the plate. I'm doubtful that it hit him, and you think about where LSU has been and this run of luck that they're on, poor defense that they've played. Let's take a closer look at this one. I didn't see it catch a thread, but they have folks at home probably have bigger TVs than we look at them on.
You know, they're starting something in one of the, I think, independent leagues where you can just take a base. Like if the catcher misses it, you swing and miss on strike one, you can run to first now. Experimental stuff going on, so maybe they're trying a little early here in the SEC.
You an experimental type guy?
No.
You've
had
the same haircut since second grade. You can't be a guy who likes experiment.
I am not for bigger bases. I mean, it's been 90 feet for, I don't know, 100 and some odd years. It's been 10-foot goals in basketball, 100 yards in football. I don't think we need bigger. Now, I do like a bigger base at first because if we can prevent injuries and collisions at first base, I'm good with that.
Yeah, put it into foul territory?
Yeah, but why make the bases bigger instead of it being 90 feet? It's going to be 89 and 10 inches or whatever.
Well hit center field. Dylan Cruz. Park's going to hold this one, and he puts it away for out number 3, but Hilliard had to work for it. Working around his own error and a balk and a hit batter. 2 left on for A&M.
Dee Patel brings an unstoppable spirit to everything she does. In her role as the first woman to lead the historic Hermitage Hotel and as a mother and wife, Dee is determined to give back, making sure doors are open and opportunities are unlocked for the women and girls her life touches. First Horizon is proud to share Dee's passion for empowering women and be the bank she trusts to help her make a difference, today and every day.
Did I tell you I bought our car from Carvana?
Yeah, Ma.
It was so easy. I found the perfect car. Under budget, too. And I get 7 days to love it or my money back. I love it. I thought online meant no one to help me. But Susan from Carvana had all the answers. She didn't try to upsell me. Not once. Because they're not salespeople. Where do you guess who just checked in on me?
Mom.
Susan from Carvana.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
Smile Direct Club. You pop them in, you go to bed, and they do all the work.
Straighten your teeth while you sleep with Smile Direct Club nighttime aligners.
You just put them in when you go to bed. You don't have to wear them all day. They don't interfere with your daily lifestyle at all.
You can have your teeth straightened while you sleep. Who doesn't have time to wear something while they're sleeping?
I'm able to wear them just at night, and it's perfect for me.
Choose easy. Choose Smile.
Thanks, Smile Direct Club.
Get started for free at SmileDirectClub.com.
The best 2022 draft prospect on the LSU Tigers is Jacob Berry. It's unclear if he's going to fit better at third base, first base, right field, left field, any of the 4 corners in pro ball. What is not in dispute is he can hit, he has a good approach, he's got above average to plus raw power, and he's performed everywhere he's gone. He opened the season maybe in picks 5 through 8 for the draft. Now there's a big glut of college hitters that are all in that group from 5 to 20. And so how good he performs in conference play will dictate if he goes closer to 5 or closer to 20.
All right, thanks, Kylie. I went back and was looking at the scorebook from Omaha last year. Berry had 17 home runs, hit a couple at the College World Series. He was the National Co-Freshman of the Year, first-team All-American, freshman All-American, Pac-12 All-Conference, Dick Hauser Trophy semifinalist, made 62 starts, hit .352. He has 17 home runs last year, and it was almost equal from both sides of the plate for the switch hitter. A little chopper handled by Prager. And he'll take it halfway.
Yeah, and you know, and just for fun, he led the Pac-12 in RBIs with 70 too.
Not bad.
So yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good freshman year. And yes, I think the hit tool is there. Now, he hasn't hit well as a right-hander so far this year. All 8 home runs have come from the left side. He's not hitting too good, you know, as a right-handed hitter. I think that's going to come. The question for Jacob Berry is, what position will he eventually end up at? You know, there's your splits. See, versus the left-handed pitcher, he's .391, only hitting .133 versus left-handed pitching so far this year.
Jordan Thompson at the plate now for LSU.
But one thing about it, the bat works, and maybe he ends up at first base. I mean, maybe he ends up as a first baseman.
Always good to have depth. LSU has one of the best defensive first basemen in the country in Trey Morgan, occupying that spot right now. Now, Jordan Thompson's been an interesting story. Sophomore from Chula Vista, California, at a Helix High School. Good high school quarterback in his day. And he had a great series against A&M last year. Kind of kick-started his year. But defensively, Ben, he's just not there. Already 9 errors on the year.
Yeah, and it's not because of lack of work. I mean, you come out here and you watch these guys early work. He's taking 100 ground balls a day. They're working on the defense. It's not because lack of preparation, lack of work. I just think it's a funk that LSU is in right now. And I don't think they're a great defensive team, don't get me wrong, but they're certainly not as bad as what they've been so far.
This ball is roped down the line and left, and that is foul. And they'll take it to 3-2. You know, when Thompson first got here, he actually started at third at the very beginning and then found his home at short. And there's this thought that if you're a shortstop in the SEC, you kind of carry yourself differently. You've got the it that everybody talks about, whether you go back to Bregman or Dansby or others. It's kind of like being a quarterback in the SEC. And this one's yanked and will stay fair. Into the corner for Rock. Jordan Thompson on his way to second base, and it's a 1-out double. His 5th of the year.
Well, and the coaching staff loves this kid. I mean, he really oozes with talent. And there's some sneaky pop there, too. I mean, he continues to fill out. Still a little bit lean, but you could see another 10 pounds next year, and a guy that's probably going to hit you double digits home runs as a junior next year. Take a look at this swing. 3-2 count. Gets a fastball, and boy, he gets to the top of that one. And that's a nice short stroke, something he's been working on. See, there's not a whole lot of movement there. It's not a big takeaway. It's from point A to point B, and that's finding the barrel.
And now Jack Merrifield at the plate. Started his career at LSU Eunice. Teammate of Jason McDonald, Junior College Division II World Series champs.
Yeah, played shortstop for LSU mostly last year. As we mentioned earlier, nobody was better in junior college at the position of shortstop than he was.
Kind of interesting how he ended up there, because when he first showed up, he was on the mound. Pitched his freshman season, then the pandemic hit. When he returned, moved to the infield, first at second, and then to short. Prairieville, Louisiana native, hit .402 over 58 games last year.
Yeah, it was out of necessity. Coach Willis over there at LSU said, hey, I need you to pick up a bat and kind of get going again. And boy, he got going.
Yeah, I'd say if getting going is hitting 400, that one's tipped into Smith's mitt, and that'll do it for Merrifield. He didn't feel like that it was either tipped or caught. Jay Johnson's going to have a hard time winning this argument. Let's see. Oh yeah, that was in the dirt.
You can see the dirt fly.
That's got to be frustrating for Jay, because he's got a perfect angle of it. When Broward didn't, apparently blocked by the catcher. That'll be a strikeout in the third for Prager, and the home crowd reacts appropriately. Beautiful day for baseball here in Baton Rouge. Temperature in the mid-70s. Got a cloud in the sky. Finale of a 3-game series. And the wind drifting to left. A&M looking for a sweep, already up 2-0 here in the second. Here's Giovanni DiGiacomo. To second. Bose a little bit high but handled. No runs, a hit, one left. When we return, we'll talk with LSU's first-year head coach Jay Johnson as the Tigers send Hilliard back out for the third.
Microwave, did you know that Auto Trader has Kelly Blue Book so I know the prices are good?
Smart. Was I a good price?
Oh, Microwave, you're worth every penny. You're my best friend. And ain't nothing wrong with that.
especially for beginning gardener. Yeah?
I think you like some.
Create a season full of celebration. Your happiest spring starts at Lowe's.
Having a 5G phone that's not on T-Mobile makes as much sense as playing ice hockey. Using pool noodles. Get out of the penalty box with 5G coverage like this. T-Mobile has more 5G bars in more places than anyone. T-Mobile, more 5G bars in more places. Another reason T-Mobile is the leader in 5G.
Your ticket to more. Exclusive access, birthday deals, and rewards with 10% back on every ticket. Now that's something to sing, laugh, cheer, scream, buy about. Vivid Seats. Life happens live.
Barbie really wants this dream house, and Barbie found out about it from Rocket Homes. She did? Well, it's a super competitive market. Everyone wants to buy the dream house.
Better offer Betty, cash offer Carl.
Oh no! Don't worry, she has a verified approval that lets sellers know she's backed by Rocket Mortgage. So Barbie wins!
But we need a house. You could buy Castle Grayskull.
Find and finance your dream house with Rocket Homes and Rocket Mortgage.
Jay Johnson, more pressing concerns, talking with his crew and confirming that they missed that call on the drop on a pitch in the dirt that was a strike 3 ruled foul tip. And so Jack Moss will lead off the 3rd inning for Texas A&M. You know, I was talking with Jay before the game. We talked about the difference between the Pac-12 and the SEC. And he had a great run at Arizona, played in the finals against Coastal Carolina, made it back to Omaha last year. And he said the intensity of this, even though this is only 2 games into his SEC portion of his head coaching job, the intensity in conference series here versus where he came from is incomparable. Doty, one down.
Yeah, the intensity, the atmospheres,
yes,
the crowds, and the competition is all ramped up a notch. And that's not taking anything away from the Pac-12. It is a really good baseball conference with some outstanding players. But as a whole, if you take the SEC as a whole, and all you got to do is look at the rankings right now. I think there's 5 SEC schools in the top 9 right now in the rankings. Every weekend, and it seems like every game you play can be decided by one pitch made or not made, one defensive play made or not made, of course one big base hit at the right time seems to be the difference, not only in these games but in these series as well.
Here's Troy Clouch at the plate. Well, then when you have 10 weekends and 30 games and very rarely a breather in there, and you're trying to either get guys right or develop guys, that puts a lot of pressure on then not only what you do over those 3 games, because it's not like you can just throw all your reserves out there on a Sunday afternoon, but also how you coach in midweek games.
Absolutely, because you'd like to develop some guys. You get a base hit to right field here off the bat of Clouch, but yeah, you'd like to take the midweek games and maybe develop some of your younger guys for next season or maybe later on in the season. But the RPI matters, and you need to try to win every game of the year for the RPIs and the rankings and being, potential regional host at the end of the season. So it matters, and for a first-year coach, it's even more difficult, because he's trying to implement the things that he wants to teach the way that he wants to teach it. So it happens really fast your first year.
I did ask him before the game if the pressure here was something that he was aware of, and he said, listen, I knew what I was getting into. I knew what the expectations were. It's what was so appealing about this job in many ways, right? That's what's appealing about the SEC for both of these head coaches in their first year. He said, so at this point, I'm not surprised by any of it. I know you just look at the billboard in right field. 6 national titles up there. You know what the fans expect, what the boosters expect, what your athletic director expects.
Well, it's a different kind of job, and you're right. It's kind of like managing the Yankees, where the expectations are through the roof every year here in Baton Rouge, and that's just what it is. And Jay knew. I mean, look, Jay grew up, and he'll tell you he's a West Coast guy, but he grew up being an LSU fan, wanting to play at LSU and being part of those national championship teams in the early 90s. He grew up watching that, so he knew kind of what it was all about. And he'll tell you, he spent a lot of time talking to Skip Bertman and picking his brain and spending a lot of dinners with him, just trying to figure it out in a lot of ways. And that's what he's trying to do, is figure it out and trying to put his own pieces in, because everything is new here. It's a totally new coaching staff coming in from everywhere. And so sometimes, just like you talk about Schlossnagel over here at Texas A&M, a brand new coaching staff here, and they're trying to get it going as well.
Brett Minnick at the plate, drove in a run with a single in the first. I think one aspect of it that should be appreciated, sinking line drive to center, Cruz in front of it, 2 on with 1 out, is it obviously based on what he did at Arizona. You can win a national championship at Arizona. You can recruit to a national championship. You can get to Omaha. You have a chance. But it seems you have more opportunities at LSU and more opportunities in the SEC.
Yeah, and he said it wasn't an SEC job that drove him to the Southeastern Conference. It was the fact it was LSU. He said, I would have never left Arizona for any other school other than LSU, because he wants those opportunities to be able to recruit and win a national title and be a part of some special things that's happened in Baton Rouge over the years.
So here's Dylan Rocket to plate, 2 on and 1 out. A&M looking to extend what is a 2-0 lead. Rock, when he started at Texas San Antonio, was named CUSA All-Freshman team in 2018. Got off to a great start with the Roadrunners. They're doing a pretty good job with the NIL money at Texas A&M. Dylan Rock might want to see if he can get his hands on some. When he was at UTSA, he spent his Christmas break as a salesperson for L'Oreal.
Nice.
Right? You get Christmas break. You're trying to move some perfume. You walk by in the mall. Ma'am, can I interest you in this? A couple of sprays here and there.
Whatever it takes. I like that. I don't know that I could do it, but well, you never know.
You never know. I thought I smelled some Drakkar Noir on you when I walked in the press box today.
Just good old Irish Spring soap. Use it for shampoo and all.
Rock's got a 5-game hitting streak going. And he's made 14 starts on the season. A couple of seasons ago at Texas San Antonio, he began the year with a 24-game hit streak. That was the second longest hit streak in school history. That's a nice start. Hilliard up to 42 pitches now.
Well, one thing you could say about Texas A&M, although it's a new roster, a new team, a team that frankly wasn't playing well when they got to Baton Rouge, the moments have not been too big for them in front of these big crowds here at LSU. They have taken it to LSU, and it's been seesaw all 3 games, back and forth. Both of these games tied going into the 9th inning, and Texas A&M has found a way in both of the games to win.
Off of his foot, a foul ball. It'll take the count full with 2 on. The surprise to that from a Texas A&M perspective that they've won games late is that their bullpen has not been good. 51% of their runs allowed this season have occurred in the final 3 innings. An apple a day or more than that. Try to keep the runs away from that A&M bullpen.
Well, yeah, it's a bullpen ERA coming in of well over 5, but here in this series, their bullpen's been big. Now, they have 3 real starters. We saw Deppner on Friday night, Micah Dallas last night, and you're seeing Prager today. And I tell you what, one thing that Texas A&M pitching staff does well, the fewest walks in the SEC. They really attack the strike zone, and they've done it in this series. They've not been intimidated by some big bats by LSU. They've given up 5 home runs, but a lot of those home runs have been solo shots, and it really hadn't hurt them.
By the way, they've just gone final in Knoxville, second-ranked Tennessee with a 10-0 win over South Carolina. That is a Tennessee sweep, and didn't seem like heavy lifting for Tony Vitello's team in any of those 3 games.
I think Tennessee's, we knew they were a ranked team. They weren't ranked extremely high, but I think they've been the difference so far in the SEC. I mean, you talk about where they're at with their bats, #1 in the SEC. The pitching staff is #1 as well, defending very well. So Tony Vitalo's got it going again for a second consecutive year over at Knoxville.
Rock draws the walk. Bases loaded now. Ryan Targac comes in 0 for 1 in this game, but 4 for 8 in this series with a triple and a home run. And the home run broke some of the Spanish tile on the building in right field, the development center. Not on the front side, but on the back side.
Yeah, we've seen some long home runs at this ballpark, but that one's right in the top 5. Mikael Hilliard's trying to roll a ground ball. He was able to induce a 5-4-3 double play to get LSU off the field in the first. He's trying to do the same thing here.
Targac 2 for 4 with the bases loaded this season. A&M was not a good situational hitting team coming into this weekend. As a team, they're at 175 coming into the series with the bases juice. 2-0, pardon me, 1-1.
That's it, Tommy, right there. That's the tile that he broke. And that's way back there. That's on the second roof. That's going over the workout center and landing on the second roof back there.
Did you hit one onto the roof? Yeah, the second roof.
Yeah, the back roof.
They get 2 choices. They can either get a cherry picker out there to fix it or just put you on a step stool. Targac in the 7 hole, riding an 8-game hit streak. Bases loaded, the 2-1. 2-2. Outfield playing Targac straight away. Cruz maybe a step or 2 in center. Now he'll drift towards left before the pitch from Hilliard. Bases loaded, the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball in for strike 3. Big K for Hilliard.
Huge. Giant pitch by Mikael Hilliard. And look, this is his bread and butter. It's a high spin rate breaking ball. When he gets it spinning, watch the depth on this one. That's the one that'll hurt your feelings. You see it so high up in the zone as a hitter, you give up on it, and boy, it has some nice vertical break coming down. Big punch out for LSU and Mikael Hilliard there. Now, can he finish and get LSU off the field?
This will be his 50th pitch of the game here in the 3rd inning. Bases loaded for Taylor Smith. Smith's hitting .300 with runners in scoring position this year. What pitch was that?
That's the new pitch for Mikael here, more of a slider. So he's always had the little fastball with a cut to it and the big overhand breaking ball. We've seen a couple changeups early, and now he's starting to break out the slider the second time through.
There's a breaking ball. How important is it for a pitcher to have something else they can go to second time they see about it?
I think you have to. I mean, it's tough in this league to go through a lineup a second time or maybe a third time with just 2 pitches, because you show them everything the first time through. But if you can wait till the second time through and, okay, here's a changeup that I have new, or here's a cut fastball, it helps you to extend and get yourself through maybe the lineup a second or a third time.
Bases loaded for Taylor Smith. Aggies up 2-0. Big pitch coming from Hilliard. The 0-2. Popped him up. Manis will take it a look and got it right in front of the screen. Hilliard gets out of trouble as the Aggies strand the bases loaded. They've left 6 on through 3. We'll talk with head coach Jim Schlossnagle about it when we return. His Aggies lead 2-0.
Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power, brings you the Select Cut mower. Customize the cut with 3 interchangeable blades. It cuts for over an hour on a single charge. Ego, exclusively at Lowe's, Ace, and Ego authorized dealers.
Je te porterai.
I will carry you.
Sous la pluie ou au soleil.
Whatever we do.
With electric all-wheel drive, you have the capability to go to the ends of the earth. For the things that matter most.
All right, hang on to that thing, buddy.
Kia, movement that inspires.
2 runs on 6 hits for A&M. LSU no runs, a hit, and 2 errors. Tom Hart with Ben McDonald up in the booth. Happy to be joined by Jim Schlossnagle in the Texas A&M dugout. Schloss, 2-time National Coach of the Year. You took TCU to the Omaha 5 times. What was it about the A&M job that appealed to you?
Well, for me at that time in my life, personally and professionally, I was just personally looking for kind of a life change professionally. TCU is an awesome place. Fort Worth is the best town I've ever lived in to this point, and but I just wanted to try something new, and I don't feel like I took necessarily a better job. It's just a different job, and obviously come and be a part of the SEC, and specifically the SEC West.
Coach, talk a little bit about your offense. All we heard about and all we saw on paper, last in this, last in that in the SEC, but yet you guys have come in here 19 runs on 28 hits. This offense has been very good so far in this series.
Yeah, I think we've just gotten off to a slow start. We've obviously had a couple really big injuries. But we've definitely competed through the at-bats, and we've got some guys in. We did in that inning, but we got some guys in from third base with less than 2 outs. So we're a work in progress.
A work in progress, yet you already got the series win. And I think this is key, not just within division, but on the road. What has this weekend meant to what your team goals are for the year?
Well, we'll find out. Obviously, the goal is to win a championship of some kind and advance to a postseason. But right now, it's way early to be thinking about those things.
Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
That's Jim Schlossnagle, whose children, Jackson and Katie, are still students at TCU. I love the way he phrased that. It wasn't an opportunity to take a better job, but a different job. I mean, he built TCU into a national power. They went to Omaha 3 consecutive seasons. They were regulars there.
Well, you think about before he arrived at TCU, in program history, they'd been to 2 NCAA tournaments. And yet, in a 19-year span, he goes to the postseason 15 out of 19 years and takes TCU to 5 trips to Omaha. So talk about turn around a program. And there's no doubt that he'll have Texas A&M, off to a wonderful start. But they will be a factor in the SEC every year in a few short years.
They got big plans in Aggie Land. Speaking with A&M Athletic Director Ross Bjork at the basketball game yesterday in College Station, they're going to pump even more money into that baseball program. You like Bluebell Park?
I do.
It's going to get better. They got upgrades coming. Now, most of that, as we talked about, was talking to Schloss about this, is on the player development side, trying to catch up with the Joneses in the locker room and with pitching labs and things like that. And here's Nate Yesky, his fantastic pitching coach, who was part of the staff at Oregon State for a long time, and then with Jay Johnson at Arizona. It's a battle with the Joneses in the SEC West, especially when it comes to facilities.
Yeah, it almost feels like an arm race. Is what it is. I mean, Mississippi State arguably built the cathedral of college baseball. Ole Miss did $35 million about 5 years ago improvements. Now they got another 35 or 40 million coming. Alabama put a new ballpark in. LSU's trying to do some different things. I mean, you look around the league and it just keeps getting bigger and better, because that's what kids like. It's about recruiting now and getting them on campus, and they want to see how big the locker room is and how many big screen TVs and where can I play the video games. And the labs have become huge. The pitching labs, the hitting labs, the workout facilities, it's all becoming a huge part of the SEC.
Here's Braden Jobert, sophomore from Slidell, Louisiana. A late add to the lineup today. So he's in there in the 9-hole, the lefty hitting .311 with 4 home runs, but hitless in his last 11.
Yeah, I got off to a quick start. It's funny how things happen. Cade Beloso, game 1 of the season, was penciled to be the DH, and right before the game had a freak accident and tore his ACL and his knee, and Braden Jobert was inserted, minutes before the game began, and he hadn't been able to DH, hadn't come out of that DH spot since then.
Singled in his first at-bat, homered in his second. Pop this one up behind the plate. Smith will look. Joe Bear out of North Shore High School in Slidell, originally committed to Alabama, then under head coach Greg Goff. That opportunity went away when Goff was let go. Ended up going to Nichols, where his dad played. Played for the Nichols team that played LSU in NCAA regionals in the late 90s.
Well, he kind of gambled on himself. He did really well at Nichols, and there was no reason to think he wouldn't start if he went back. But he said, you know what? I'm going to go the JC route. And he went down to New Orleans, and Delgado had put up a monster year last year. Because if you talk to him, he'll tell you, my goal was always to play for LSU, and I wanted to gamble on myself. If I could put a big year up down in New Orleans at Delgado, I maybe get a chance to go to LSU, and he did that.
And interesting, right? Because the transfer portal has changed things now, but Gilbert had the choice. You could end up somewhere and sit out, or go play a year JUCO ball. Always better to play than to sit.
Yeah, and he just believed in himself that he went down and put up a big year, that he would have an opportunity to come to LSU, and he did that. And I think you've seen a lot of kids do that. They go to D1 first, realize, man, might be a whole lot of playing time. I'm not going to develop sitting on the bench. I'll go the JUCO route. I'll go show everybody what I can do. And if I open up some eyes, I can write my own ticket.
Gilbert caught looking. And it's the fourth strikeout for Ryan Prager, who's allowed just one hit first trip through the lineup.
Ryan Prager's been going to work. And again, this is a true freshman. He just paints a fastball right on the inside part of the plate. I don't know if that's where it was supposed to be. It looked like Taylor Smith, the catcher, wanted that ball on the outside. But regardless, it's a punch out. And the first out of the inning here in the bottom of the third.
Well, back to the top of the order. Here's Trey Morgan again. What have you thought of Prager as a whole in his first SEC start to this point?
Pretty good changeups. And we've seen a little bit of a wrinkle on the breaking ball side. But again, Nate Yeske, the pitching coach at A&M, has been preaching, we're going to pound the strike zone. And I'll throw you a number. The starters for Texas A&M came into this series, 63 innings pitched, only 7 walks between the 3 starters. That's Deppner, Dallas, and Prager. So they have been filling up the strike zone so far this year.
Trey Morgan bailed out of that one. He's really been struggling against lefties this year, just 2 for 17. Lined out to center field his first time up today. To second. Boast shovels it, and they turn it. Boast to Kaler to Clunch, and it's the first double play turn by Texas A&M, only their 12th of the year.
Yeah, it begins with a good pitch down in the zone. A little hopper to Boast, over to Kaler, and Clunch finishes off, and A&M is off the field.
When you're waiting for a kiss, 1 second can feel like forever. Freshen up and make a move. No more waiting, just kissing.
Did I tell you I bought our car from Carvana?
Yeah, Ma.
It was so easy. I found the perfect car. Under budget, too. And I get 7 days to love it or my money back. I love it. I thought online meant no one to help me. But Susan from Carvana had all the answers. She didn't try to upsell me. Not once. Because they're not salespeople. Where do you guess who just checked in on me?
Mom.
Susan from Carvana.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
Smile Direct Club.
These are Smile Direct Club aligners. They're laser cut for comfort to gently straighten teeth under a doctor's direction. They can turn a smile like this into a smile like this in as little as 4 to 6 months for less than $3 a day. So choose comfortable. Choose fast. Choose affordable. Choose smile. See how much insurance will cover at SmileDirectClub.com.
SEC is the best conference. It's the best baseball in America.
Cycle completion. Ripped one. Pretty good at that. She's out of here. A grand slam. Off the scoreboard. Diving catch by Bradfield.
It's what we all look forward to. Top teams every single weekend. It's relentless. Really intense.
The SEC, every game matters.
Opening weekend in the SEC, the first weekend of 10 with 30 games over that spread. And right now A&M leads LSU 2-0 in the fourth. Tom Hart, Ben McDonald, joined by LSU head coach Jay Johnson in the home dugout. Jay, we're talking before the game, the intensity of SEC games, the opportunity, the attention, a little bit different.
It's awesome. I mean, who wouldn't want to play here? Fans are amazing. Great energy, providing great energy, have lifted us to get back in games when we've been behind the last 2 days, and love to do that again today and come out on top.
Yeah, Coach, look, I mean, you tie ball games, both of these games going into.
Brett takes that one over the wall and right center. Jay, that's really nice for you to stay on headset with us right now. Ben will finish his question.
Yeah, both these games tied going into the ninth inning, and had the go-ahead run last night in the eighth inning, eighth inning at second base, and just couldn't get them home, and all of a sudden you lose both of them. And what's the message to your club going into today's game?
Well, we got to get better. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Whether it's strike zone pressure, we walked 10 guys last night. The defense thing, well documented. We got to take care of the ball. Had a throwing error in the first inning again today on a relay play where Jordan didn't get his feet underneath him to do that. And then at bats wise, they're doing a good job, pitching to us right now. We got to take tougher at bats. That's a classic example right there. Tyler does a good job and get a leadoff on. We can't take called third strike away and then swing at a 1-0 breaking ball and bounce into a double play left on left. So we got to get better in all phases.
Jay, thanks for your time.
Right,
we appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Cole Kaler at the plate right now. We talked about this before the game, Ben, before we came on the air. This is a coaching staff that works this team. This is a team that works hard even though things aren't going well. I know this very demanding fan base doesn't want to hear that, but it's not for lack of effort, and it's certainly, if you look at the potential they have, it's not for lack of talent.
No doubt. I mean, the talent is here. But look, in the college game, what we're seeing now, Tom, because of COVID, everybody got a year back, and because of a 5-round draft the same year, teams now are a lot older in college ball than what they used to be. And a lot of times now in the college game, experience and older guys trump talent. And when you talk about talent from LSU, it is a very young team. You look around the infield, Jordan Thompson in his second full year. Talk about Morgan over at first, second full year. Jacob Berry in right field. It's just his second full year. And so in a lot of ways, this is a young LSU team compared to other teams in the SEC.
Ground ball to first, and Morgan will scoop that one up and take it. One out. Yeah, I had Ole Miss Thursday night. Mike Bianco's got guys that are 23, 24 years old. A lot of grad opportunities. I think 3 or 4 guys. This is Logan Britt in his third home run of the season.
Yeah, how about that swing? Elevated fastball, up, out, over the plate. And that's what's impressed me about Texas A&M. They just know who they are. Very seldom do they try to pull the balls on the outside corner. It's a team, if I didn't know the numbers coming in, would say, okay, this is maybe not a power club in a lot of ways, although that's their third home run of the series, but a team that really understands the approach to hitting and being able to hit the ball where it's pitched.
Austin Bose 1 for 2 today. Hilliard now at 60 pitches. We want him to get deeper in this game. And Bose sends this one into center. Second hit of the inning. His brother Blake is a quarterback for Jimbo Fisher, and if had A&M been able to play in its bowl game after injuries and Zach Calzada had already transferred, Bose would have been the starting quarterback. And now brother Austin has 2 knocks. And he'll bring up the 3-hole hitter Jack Moss, who's got a 7-game hit streak going. Hilliard struck out 2 and walked 1 over 3 1/3 so far, sitting at 61 pitches.
Yeah, when Hilliard had success, Tom, it's when he's down with that fastball knee high. That's where he has to live. It's an upper 80s fastball. He can't work the top of the strike zone and be effective because of the lack of velocity. Now, when he's been down, he's been good. When he's gotten ahead, he's been able to go to that big overhand breaking ball to finish guys.
I feel like this is a big scenario for him here in the heart of the lineup. If they want to get 6 innings out of him, or even maybe 5, got to get through these dudes.
No doubt. But I tell you, you look at the history of this series right here, and the bottom part of this A&M lineup has really carried the load so far. I mean, Britt with the home run a couple of batters ago. You go back to last night's game, Targot's down in the 7-hole. He had 3 base hits, 2 RBIs. Smith in the 8-hole last night, a couple of RBIs. And even Logan Britt in the 9-hole, a base hit and 2 RBIs as well. So they've done it with the bottom part of the lineup as A&M.
I've gone final in Athens. What do you think the final score was? You heard what the score was earlier. I'm going to give you
the score
chance
early
to guess.
was what? It was like 14 to or 13 to 3 or something like that. It probably ended up 15 to 9.
20 to 3. Mississippi State wins the finale. Bulldogs had 18 hits.
They needed that one. Georgia had won the first 2 of that series, if I'm not mistaken. So Mississippi State avoids a sweep on the road.
They had an 8-run 6th and a 5-run 8th.
Yeah, Mississippi State definitely better offensively than what they have shown so far this year. Now losing Landon Sims is a killer. Stone Simmons went down as well.
Hunter Hines, by the way, and that one for Mississippi State. Drove in 4 and was walked 3 times. Into Cruz in center field. 2 down. You mentioned those arm injuries for Mississippi State. Expectations, pressure. Chris Lemonis has a national championship under his belt. We got Everett, the bus driver, popping off to people on Twitter aren't happy with the way the team's performing.
Look, it's difficult, you know, and when you go from the hunter to the hunted, and that's what Mississippi State is, because everybody wants a piece of the national champion. And so you're going to get everybody's A game every time you step on the field. It's a little bit different.
Arkansas knocked off Kentucky 3-1. And Florida leads Alabama 6-5 in the 8th. Here's Claunch, 2 for 2. Drove in a run in the first inning. Talked about Jim Schlossnagel's great TCU teams. He had a catcher there. It had been that first College World Series team in 2010. Brian Holiday, who's a Johnny Bench Award winner. He said Claunch is cut from the same cloth. Had 92 starts in his run as a Beaver at Oregon State. Claunch grew up in Northern California. His dad, Stan, was a great high school quarterback. Well, when Claunch was 4, his dad took him to a Giants game. He bought one of those small wooden bats with the logo on it, you know. Shortly thereafter, they're in the backyard. He's got that little bat as a 4-year-old swinging it. And he broke the bat on a swing. And instead of, you know, most kids would be disappointed, I lost my souvenir. He said, Dad, I broke my first bat.
Yeah, those are the ones they used to give away at big league games until people started firing them on the field from the upper deck. And they said, well, maybe not a good idea to hand out weapons in the stands.
Anything that can be a projectile will not be a giveaway. Claunch was a pretty good high school quarterback. I ran the wing T. That one got away from the catcher Manis, and that allows Bose to end up at second base on a wild pitch.
Yeah, pretty big miss here by Mikael Hilliard. Trying to get that breaking ball to the outside part of the plate, but well out in front. But Tyler McManus didn't get that body all the way in front of that ball with the forward lean. There's yet another runner in scoring position. Texas A&M only went down order last night, in order, only one time out of 9 innings. There was constant activity, constant traffic on the bases, and they just find ways to pressure you. And they have pressured LSU so far here in Game 3 of this series.
Ball and the strike to Claunch. And he sends that one foul. So Claunch got to Oregon State. He was, told you, played high school football. He was behind another pretty good football player who, oh, by the way, signed for a big bonus with the Orioles, Adley Rutschman.
Yes.
Switch hitting catcher.
#1 prospect in all of baseball, and he's going to put a big league uniform on at some point in time. There was some talk that maybe he may make the big club out of spring training, but a little bit of a tricep injury. Nothing serious, but that's probably going to shut him down as far as being able to make it opening day in the big leagues, but certainly the Orioles will see him at the big league level at some point in time here in 2022.
Claunch lifts this one to right field. Jacob Berry puts it away. Hilliard has flirted with trouble, but generally gotten out of it. But a leadoff home run from Logan Britt extends the A&M lead. We'll see Doty, Cruz, and Berry due up for LSU.
At Hilton, we love that feeling of making things happen, of letting go, that feeling of calm, that I can do anything feeling, the magic of that just arrived feeling, that everything is a new memory feeling, that vacation is on feeling. Book now at Hilton.com. To new memories, Hilton, and our family of brands.
Before treating your chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, you're not the only one with questions about Botox. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they even start, with about 10 minutes of treatment once every 3 months. So ask your doctor if Botox is right for you, and if a sample is available.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
In a survey, 92% of current users said they wish they talked to their doctor and started Botox sooner. Plus, right now, you may pay $0 for Botox. Ask your doctor about Botox today.
Texas A&M looking for a sweep of 13th ranked LSU. 3-0 Aggies as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning. And their freshman pitcher, Ryan Prager, has thrown fewer pitches each and every inning. 15 in the first, 13 in the second, 12 in the third. Like the opposite of my waistline. It's shrinking.
No, he has filled it up. He's used his fastball both in and out. Because what we heard about him, the command wasn't great on the arm side. So away from right-handers and inside the left-handers. But I've been watching, and that's how you can tell if a pitcher's on his game. Watch where the catcher sets up and watch how close he comes to hitting those spots. And there's a fastball for strike one. And that's what we've seen a lot of. Strike one out of the freshman Prager.
You think we got sandbagged a little bit with the scouting report?
Well, I was kind of skeptical of the scouting report because in 20 innings of work going into this game, he only allowed 9 hits and 3 walks in 20 innings. So I was like, okay, if the command's not that great, then why does he only have 3 walks?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So, I mean, I'm not a smart guy, but I can see some numbers from time to time. So I was wondering about the scout report. But he came in 3 walks, 21 strikeouts, and just 20 innings pitched with a very good ERA of 1.3 in 4 starts.
Doty had a great finish to last season. In a final series in A&M, he went 5 for 15. Doubled, hit a 3-run home run in the 13th inning win, which clinched a spot in Hoover for LSU after their early season struggles. That was Paul Maneri's 1,500th win.
Yeah, and that was one of the goals for Doty this year. He tore it up overall, but the numbers in SEC play, what he wanted. You know, and the scouts you get graded as a hitter on what you do in SEC play, because that's obviously when you face the best pitching.
Yeah.
that you're going to face. And the numbers weren't great for him. The majority of his home runs came in midweek games. And they've been a little bit different so far this year. He's just a different hitter, more experienced, third year on campus.
That one was inside, and Prager's second walk of the game.
And that's how Texas A&M right there has been able to finish a lot of these hitters is they get in the head on balls off speed and away, but a lot of balls on the inside part of the plate to finish these LSU hitters. Again, LSU punched out 15 times last night.
First pitch missed to Dylan Cruz. Struck out on a changeup his first time up. Leads the SEC with 3 triples, and that one's knee high for a strike. In 2020, Cruz was the highest ranked player out of high school to attend college. Only got 8 games in due to the pandemic, but took his name out before the draft, and he sends this one past the first baseman into right. Doty on his way to third. Minnick's throw comes into Bose, and LSU in business with runners at first and third.
Well, Dylan Cruz went to school, struck out on that changeup out in front of it. So, you know, the approach this time was, I'm going to try to hit a ball, let it travel as long as I can, and I'm going to use the back part of the field. And watch this action. Tries to get that fastball in, a little inside-out swing. So watch the hands go first. The barrel follows it and just hits a rocket by Troy Claunch over at first base. Thinks about going for 2, but the right fielder Minnick got it in. But LSU, something brewing here in the bottom of the 4th, first and third, and nobody out.
So here's the switch hitting Jacob Berry. You mentioned all of his home runs coming from the opposite side. He is just 2 for 16 against lefties this year. In a first pitch strike, 0-1. Grounded out back to Prager his first time up. 0-2.
Just a little bit of uncertainty for Jacob Berry at the plate right now.
You feel like he's not seen it well?
Yeah, I just feel like he's a little tentative, not aggressive enough early. And then, look, that happens when you get scuffling a little bit. It's hard to say he's scuffling. He's hitting 342, and nobody in the SEC has more homers than he has right now. So it's hard to say that he's scuffling, but he really hasn't got going, and that's a scary statement. But remember, he's switching teams, coming from Arizona. You want to impress right away. You step on an LSU campus, you put the uniform on, you're the #1 rated college prospect in the country. So a lot for him to try to live up to in his draft year. He is a draftable sophomore this year.
Out of Queen Creek High School in Arizona, but family grew up in Colorado.
Yeah, Dad actually played college baseball right down the road for the Raging Cajuns back in the day, so has some ties down here in the Bayou.
Dad Perry Berry. Sounds like a shake, and he lines this one into center field. Doty comes home to score. Cruz on his way to third, and Jacob Berry gets a key knock. LSU in this game with 3 straight reaching to start the 4th.
Love this approach by LSU in this inning. They're starting to see Ryan Prager for the second time. Cruz goes backside, and again, let the ball travel. Jacob Berry with the same type of approach. Said, you know what, you're going to throw it out there, I'm going to hit it that way. He hits a rocket over the second baseman's head, Austin Most. Cruz goes first to third. Doty comes home. We got a 3-1 ball game. This is what you want to see from a young lineup. Okay, you saw a pitcher for the first time. You saw what he did. Now, the second time you go to the plate, let me see what kind of adjustments you can make. LSU started to make some adjustments here the second time through.
Jordan Thompson doubled against Prager. That was a lone hit the freshman lefty had allowed until Cruz singled here in the fourth. Into right center field. Minnick and Britt converge. The center fielder Britt says he's got it. Tagging from third is Cruz, and he will score to make it a one-run game.
Situational hitting. When you don't need a base hit to score a run, can you find a way to do it? Jordan Thompson with a routine fly ball out to right center field. LSU pushes home the second run.
So here's Jack Merrifield.
Known as the baker around these parts.
Oh, the baker.
Have you heard that story?
No, please.
Loves to bake cookies, pies, cakes, all kinds of stuff, and just hands them out to his teammates. He's the best teammate in the world. So Jace told me about it last year at LSU. Like, he would just deliver chocolate chip cookies at 10 o'clock at night. Maybe an apple pie. Maybe whatever you want. And now he's doing it here at LSU as well. So we nicknamed him the baker.
Here's the thing. You only have so many teammates, right? But generally speaking, you might get different television announcers every weekend.
Go to Instagram and follow him. I think it's cookies and cream or something like that. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, off the shin, and that dribbler is going to end up going to second. And Merrifield retired on a 1-4-3. I'm going to the Instagram right now.
I'm gonna make sure I'm telling.
They said Merrifield never has a bad day, but this is bad luck here. I don't know if they ended up getting Prager. Maybe caught a spike.
I was wrong. It's cookies and sweets. 1, 2, 3. And look at all this stuff he baked. Like it ain't. He ain't just rolling up some dough and sticking it in the oven. It's a little bit of everything. And that's the kind of teammate I would have liked to have, right?
So hungry right now. Here's Giovanni DiGiacomo. They raved, by the way, about Merrifield's positive outlook. I can see why. He's probably always on a sugar high. His mom said he was even smiling in the ultrasound.
I think you never see the kid anywhere around the ballpark. He's not smiling.
Even when the yeast doesn't rise, right?
That's right.
I mean, no baker is perfect. You got to have a couple to come out flat. You missed the sugar one time.
Looking at these pictures, I think he's got it pretty well figured out.
DiGiacomo, 29th round pick of the Pirates, coming out of Naples High School in 2018.
Yeah, DiGiacomo's kind of just fought his way into the lineup. He wasn't a starter when the season began, but every opportunity he got, he started to produce. And only 29 at-bats, Tom. He's got 3 home runs and 11 RBIs in just 29 at-bats.
He's been here a while. Into left, Dylan Rock. And that's the third out, but the first 3 reached base, and LSU has made it a game with 2 runs on a couple of hits and 1 left. We got 4 innings complete. A&M leads 3-2.
Before treating your chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, you're not the only one with questions about Botox. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they even start, with about 10 minutes of treatment once every 3 months. So ask your doctor if Botox is right for you, and if a sample is available.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
In a survey, 92% of current users said they wish they talked to their doctor and started Botox sooner. Plus, right now, you may pay $0 for Botox. Ask your doctor about Botox today.
Beautiful day at the ballpark. Nice to be in the bleachers. Roll the sleeves up. Sun's out, guns out. 3 runs, 8 hits for A&M. 2 runs, 3 hits. A couple of errors for LSU. But Mikael Hilliard hanging around.
Yeah, he's got to feel good about himself. You gave up 3 runs, 2 in the first, 1 in the fourth. But when your offense goes out there, puts a 2 spot up, now you're within 1. Gives you a little bit extra adrenaline flow, and he's got to feel pretty good about where he's at. He's been able to work out, and that's what you hoped he could do, a guy that's got a lot of experience coming in. You talk about Mikael here, nearly 190 innings in a collegiate uniform before this game started, so he's been in the fire a lot. Right now, head coach Jay Johnson leaning hard on him to give him maybe a couple of more innings.
Here's A&M right fielder Brett Minnick. Fifth in the batting order. He's got a couple of knocks. RBI single in the first. Opposite field single in the third.
See a little oil can Boyd in Mikael Hilliard?
Oh, okay. 1986 Red Sox?
Yeah.
How did he get that nickname?
That's a great question. I bet you can find it on Google or something. Oil can.
Thanks for the tip.
Is it still Google? Has it changed? Is there a different search engine out there?
Foul territory, Merrifield. Long run to the tarp, and he runs out of space.
That's going back a few years for you young people. You might not remember oil can. But looked very similar to Mikael Hilliard. Lean.
Well, apparently, oil can was a reference to his beer drinking, because back in native Mississippi they called beer oil. Oil can lifted to left. DiGiacomo turns and it's gone over his head and up the first row of the bleachers. Minnick's got a 3-for-3 game, and that's his 3rd home run of the year.
Well, I didn't see that one leaving the ballpark. I don't think anybody did. Minnick got out of the box like that ball's going to bounce off the wall and try to get to second base if you can. But the big left-hander, watch this swing. Hanging breaking ball, inside out. Watch the hands go. How about that balance, Tommy? Drives it to the opposite field, and there's DiGiacomo as it just leaks right over the top of the wall. So for a team that had 9 home runs total coming into this weekend, their 4th home run of the weekend.
Pretty good day to be Brett Minnick. And now here's Dylan Rock. Rock into center. Cruz on his horse. Shades the sun. Racing back. That one's gone. Back-to-back home runs for Minnick and Rock. Third home run in the last 2 innings for Texas A&M. The Aggies, looking for a sweep, have answered LSU's 2-run 4th with 2 in the top of the 5th.
And that's what they've been able to do this entire series. Every time LSU put a run or 2 on the scoreboard, A&M would answer right back. This time it's Minnick in back-to-back home runs, and then Rock to follow, and that was a long one. That's out there almost straightaway center field. A&M would go back-to-back in game 1 of this series with Rock and Targott.
There is action in the LSU bullpen. Samuel Dutton getting loose.
Yeah, this is a fastball here, and it is middle. And Dylan Rock sitting all over that one. He knew he got it too. Cruz pushing all the way back to the wall. That's long. That's 405. You don't see many leave the ballpark out in that area.
Jay Johnson's going to come out. Looks like that's going to be it for Hilliard. 75 pitch outing. They try to get him through 5, but they can't wait any longer.
Samuel Dutton getting heated up. No relation to John Dutton from Yellowstone.
Be noteworthy if he was. Nothing fictional about this outing. Hilliard allows back-to-back home runs. It's a 5-2 A&M lead.
I'm Samantha.
And I'm Dan.
And we renovate RVs. Before we had Chime, we were pretty much paycheck to paycheck.
My favorite feature of Chime is their spot fee. It just gives me peace of mind when I'm buying stuff.
We use Chime's secured credit builder card, and we've upped our credit score 40 points.
By making everyday purchases with on-time payments. I Chime because building our future and planning ahead financially has never been easier.
Carvana's had a lot of firsts. 100% online car buying, car vending machines, and now putting you in control of your financing. At Carvana, get personalized terms, browse for cars that fit your budget, then customize your down payment and monthly payment. And these aren't made up numbers. It's what you'll really pay, right down to the penny. Whether you're shopping or just looking, it only takes a few seconds and it won't affect your credit score. Finally, a totally different way to finance your ride. Only from Carvana.
Smile Direct Club.
You pop them in, you go to bed, and they do all the work.
Straighten your teeth while you sleep with Smile Direct Club nighttime aligners.
You just put them in when you go to bed. You don't have to wear them all day. They don't interfere with your daily lifestyle at all.
You can have your teeth straightened while you sleep. Who doesn't have time to wear something while they're sleeping?
I'm able to wear them just at night, and it's perfect for me.
Choose easy. Choose Smile.
Thanks, Smile Direct Club.
Get started for free at SmileDirectClub.com.
That'll do it for Mikael Hilliard. 10 hits and 5 earned over 4+ innings pitched, including back-to-back home runs.
Yeah, Texas A&M now double digits in hits for the 3rd consecutive game. Already 10 hits today.
And 10 in the first, 12 in the second. What a performance by this Aggies offense. Not even a full tilt, missing some of their key players.
Yep.
Samuel Dutton, freshman from Southside, Alabama, out of Westbrook Christian High School, where he was the 2A Player of the Year in the state. Helped them to a state championship last year.
Yeah, another one of these true freshmen from LSU getting some valuable experience. See what he's done on the year. It's a good arm, 7 2/3, only 2 hits allowed, Tom. 9 strikeouts to go with it. It's a low 90s fastball, a nice breaking ball, and a changeup as well.
He'll start with Ryan Targach. Targach is an interesting story with that long home run that he hit game 1 of the series. And he looks at 91 in for a strike. It's been always like looking at guys make it to the SEC as pitchers, and you go back and look at their high school numbers, especially those guys who played, 1A, 2A, 3A. I mean, it doesn't matter. These guys are good enough that they dominated the high school competition, and Dutton is no different. Senior year, he was 9-0 with a .40 ERA. He struck out 117 batters over 53 innings.
Is that good?
That's pretty good. He set an Alabama High School Athletic Association record with 4 no-hitters.
No, that's really good.
One season? One of those was a perfect game. Just tell your fielders to take the day off, huh? Swing and a miss for Targach.
Well, he makes pretty quick work of Targach. Fastball, change up, and then right back to the fastball and gets it by him.
Here's the catcher, Taylor Smith, who is 0 for 2.
Dutton worked in game 1 of this series. Pitched the inning in the 3rd. Didn't allow a hit or a run, a walk, and a couple strikeouts.
Hard hit, but foul. Well, here's an opportunity, right? I mean, here's a guy who's pitching twice a week in SEC play. But with a bullpen that's kind of unsettled, he has a chance to make a name for himself. And I would imagine if you're this LSU coaching staff, everything you see in a conference game has to carry more weight than what you did leading into this part of the season.
No doubt. And look, you could make the case this young man has been maybe the best reliever LSU has. He hadn't given up a run yet. He's got a 0 ERA. And whatever position they put him in, as far as early in the game, late in the game, he's performed at this point. Now, you're right. The competition's ramping up, getting the SEC play. But he throws a lot of strikes, and it's plus stuff. Command of 3 pitches.
Is that a true four-seamer?
It's a true four-seamer. Good breaking ball and a changeup.
Well hit, deep right field. Barry all the way back to the track. Made the adjustment, bobble and drop. Taylor Smith at second base. Barry had an error on a line drive in game 1 of this series. And a suboptimal route to get to that one, but I thought he had made the play.
Yeah, the route wasn't great, kind of backed and over, but he gets to the ball, and the ball's in the glove, but it just doesn't get in the pocket. He can't hang on to it. Makes a move toward the line right there. Had to go a long way for that one now, playing a little bit shallow in right field. The ball obviously carried today. You can see the wind blowing out pretty good. So if it gets up in the air, it's got some carry to it.
Fourth double of the season for Taylor Smith. And here's Logan Britt. Alabama with a walk-off win over Florida, 8-7. Tide avoids a sweep with a key win on Sunday.
Pretty good breaking ball there. You got to wonder with the shadows. See the shadows starting to creep in around home plate. Ball coming out of the sun into the shadows. A lot of times hitters will tell you when it's like that, or the opposite when the pitcher's coming out of the shadow. A little bit tougher to pick up spin. Most hitters are going to hit off the spin. They'll see the spin of the fastball, they can recognize it. The spin of the breaking ball, they can recognize it.
Breaking ball low, 1-2. Cruz and DeGiacomo. This is DeGiacomo in front of Cruz. 2 down. You mentioned the bottom of the order for A&M. Been impacting these games, and they're doing it again here today.
They have. It's been one of the best 2-strike approaches I've seen in a long time. I'd like to go back and count how many base hit takes an A&M has. Meaningful base hits this weekend. Runners in scoring position where they got down 0-2 or 1-2. Kind of got to that 2-strike approach of I'm going to choke up on the bat, kind of old school if you will, and just try to find the barrel. Just try to put a ball in play and hopes it finds a hole. They've been able to do that a lot this weekend.
Talking with Jim Schlossnagle before the game about their situational hitting. They have certain rules in place when it comes to a team approach. So they're very disciplined. It's not altogether different from what Rob Childress preached to his guys, which was be selective and find something to drive, but be selective first.
Yeah, I like that approach. I mean, be selective, look for your pitch, really try to drive a ball early. But now, when you get yourself down in the count, I want you to absolutely choke up a little bit, and I want a little bit more short, compact swing and just see if you can punch something out there. It's something I think we've gotten away from in recent years, especially at the pro level. It seems like everybody's getting their A swing off no matter what the count or the situation is. It's like, I'm getting mine, right? I'm getting my swing off. We see that start to trickle down. And you'll always have a lineup in college where you're going to let 3 or 4 guys get after it. You swing it, that's your job to do. But the other guys, I think, have to play a different kind of role at times and say, okay, the more balls we put in play, the more chance we have of creating some base hits, making things happen. And while Texas A&M is a totally new roster, a totally new team, it feels like they have bought in to what Coach Slosh and them have been preaching early about. It's a team aspect. Get your swing off early. You get down the count. Now it's mine. I want you to do what we want you to do here.
Seeing more and more of the three true outcomes trickling into the college game. Home runs up, strikeouts up. Pure balls put in play. That one's in play. Almost took off Dutton's cap. Around third is Smith, and he'll come home to make it a 6-2 A&M lead.
Right back from whence it came. Fastball middle, right back at Dutton. And no chance for Dylan Cruz. Throw out Taylor Smith. And now how big was the ball not caught out in right field? Tough play, but still a ball that probably should have been caught.
2 errors for LSU today. They occurred early in the game. Here's a 2-hole hitter, Austin Bose. Gone final in Nashville now. 4th-ranked Vanderbilt takes care of Mizzou 7-4. Arkansas beat Kentucky 3-1 at Fayetteville. It's the first earned run allowed by Dutton in 8 1/3 innings. Bose singled in the first and singled in the fourth. They sandwich a second inning fly out to center. This one headed for the roof. McManus thinks he's got a play from the logo. Got it. And it's a big out for LSU. But back-to-back home runs to start this inning. Chase Mikal Hilliard. Aggies would add another. And Texas A&M has a 6-2 lead as we head to the home half of the 5th.
My name is Daisuke Okamoto. I'm from Japan and I'm making art. With Surface, it's very easy. This pen gives feeling of drawing on paper. I can zoom in and zoom out and I can rotate. You can also take out the keyboard and draw like a tablet. It's not just computer, it's Surface. So I'm excited what I'm gonna do next.
Verizon Business Unlimited is going ultra, so you can get more. Like Manny, event planning with our best plan ever.
Yeah, that's what I do.
With 5G ultra wideband in many more cities, you get up to 10 times the speed at no extra cost. You also get unlimited premium data and hotspot data to keep the signal flowing and your teams going. You made that look easy, Manny.
Like I said, it's what I do.
Come in or book an appointment with a Verizon business expert to find the right plan for your team. Verizon is going ultra, so your business can get more.
We got the Brooms. We got 3 sweeps in the SEC and maybe a 4th if A&M holds on to this lead. Arkansas over Kentucky in 3. Vandy knocked off Mizzou in 3. Tennessee held South Carolina just 1 hit today in the finale at Lindsey Nelson. Georgia and Florida each won their series yesterday but lost today. First pitch strike to catcher Tyler McManus. I know it's early, but filtering in what we learned in the non-conference, what's your take on SEC play so far?
Very offensive this year compared to what it was last year.
Flare to the right side, and what an effort by Claunch, and he went hard into the wall.
Yeah, he tried to slide because he knew that wall was there. And of course, there's a lot of padding on that wall, but just beyond that padding is nothing but concrete. And this is an outstanding effort. You see him check the wall one time, slides to kind of break his momentum, tries to make the catch, and leaves his left arm a little bit exposed right there into that wall.
LSU's trainer is over there before ceding to A&M's. And he's holding his left hand in that wrist.
Yep.
And you hate to see it.
Yeah, because when he put the left arm out there to catch that ball, and that was obviously as he slid, that's what hit the wall first.
And of course, his primary position is catcher, and Jim Schlossnagle probably can't believe it. Third baseman is out, shortstop is out. Testing the grip strength. He's earned that number 12 at Texas A&M, of course, the history of the 12th man. And Jim Schlossnagle bringing that honor to the baseball program. We'll try to shake it off and stay in the game over at first. That bat continues for McManus and fouls one back to the screen.
Yeah, so last year, we knew about Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter and Nick Casey and Hoagland and others around the league. It doesn't feel like, now I'm not saying some aces won't emerge, because you talk about Jonathan Cannon at University of Georgia, he's never done it before, but he's certainly en route to do it this year. But it doesn't feel like we have the big-time, high-end, established arms in the past in the SEC. And all you got to do is kind of look at the numbers. I mean, you go down the list of the offense right now, and I tell you what, putting up Tennessee's averaging nearly 12 runs a game. Auburn's at 9, Ole Miss is at 10 a game, LSU over 9 coming in. There are a lot of big-time numbers going up, and I think you're going to see some high-scoring games this year.
There's 6 guys in the league who came into this weekend hitting over 400.
And you go around the league, Peyton Paulette, the Arkansas Friday night guy, is out. Blade Tidwell, the ace of Tennessee, still has not pitched yet, and yet they continue to put up giant numbers. Connor Prelipt at Alabama this time last year was projected to be the #1 pick in this year's draft, but he blew out last year. And from what we're hearing, he may not even pitch this year. So that's a big loss for them. Just lost Landon Sims. Tanner Witt, University of Texas, you mentioned him. He's the Sunday starter for them, but just a sophomore. He was projected to be a top 5 pick in next year's draft. He blew out the other day. So it's kind of weird. We're seeing a lot of our big-time arms go down. I can't put a finger on why that's happening, but it is, and it's sad for our game.
Great at bat for McManus. He works a walk out of Prager, and that'll bring Jobert to the plate. I think part of it too, Ben, is you think back a couple of years ago when we didn't have Omaha and we have a shortened season. We didn't have any conference play in the SEC. So those guys who would have either A, gotten experience, or B, gotten attention, didn't have that opportunity. So to your point, there may be some aces out there that emerge, that turn into those top prospects,
Yeah, I mean, look, there's Hunter Barco out there. He's going to be a first-rounder at Florida, their Friday night guy. He's a can't-miss first. So it's not like there's not some talent out there, but it just doesn't feel as pitcher-heavy this year as it was last year.
Hence 5-hour games on a Saturday night.
Exactly.
Jobert 0 for 1, struck out looking his first time up.
And now the umpires are getting graded. TrackMan is being put in and instituted at every ballpark, and it's a grading system for the umpires. So it's kind of like the big league level. The umpires don't want to be proven wrong. So what are they going to do? They're going to shrink the strike zone maybe a little bit more than what they have.
Targac in the shadows at third. That's a great point. One down. What's your opinion on what the college strike zone has been in terms of how it's called versus how it's drawn up? I've always saw, covering this game for the last decade, that it's always been fair, even though it's not an accurate portrayal of what it may be in the rule book.
I think that's a good way of saying it. The college strike zone has always been a little bit bigger than what the MLB strike zone is. So you've always gotten a ball off the outside corner, especially if the catcher rocks out there and he puts the glove there and you peg it, it may be a ball off the outside corner. Typically you get that call. But now the umpires are saying, okay, I'm getting judged. I'm getting graded here. And I'm not going to start calling balls out there that are borderline strikes. So what's it make an umpire do? It makes him shrink his strike zone. Because the truth of the matter is, these are 18 to 22-year-old kids. They don't have command of the strike zone like the big league guys do at times. And so I think we've always needed a little bit bigger strike zone to avoid 5-hour games and 17 to 10 ball games. Now, when you start to shrink it, you're asking for some really long games now.
And when you say shrink, that's from the perspective of the home plate umpire, but drawn up as is. I'd love to find out more. It was just announced last week that the SEC is using TrackMan for the umpire technology. But I'd love to find out more about what that TrackMan strike zone is, and if there is, for lack of a better descriptor, a buffer zone around that strike zone.
I think that's a great point, and I think that's what they should institute is, okay, here's the plate, and we're going to give a little bit off the plate, and that's going to be our imaginary box of how we're going to grade you guys, just to keep the game moving a little bit, because quite frankly, that's how it's always been in college baseball.
Swing and a miss for Morgan. Now, of course, teams have had TrackMan in their ballparks for the last few years. They've used it, a great teaching tool, whether it comes to on the pitching side or the hitting side. Exit velocity, spin rate, there's so many mechanical things that are out there now that these systems can pick up and be used as a teaching tool. It's kind of, I guess you had to have uniformity, get it in every ballpark before you could use it for the umpires. Right. But it's just a natural progression.
Yeah, just kind of where we're going. You know, it's kind of where it is now. And obviously, there's talk about the computered strike zone at the big league level. It's been instituted in some of the minor leagues this year.
I'd love to hear you argue with a robot umpire. You'd probably try to unplug him.
So they're telling me the way it's going to work, and I've not seen it yet, but there is a home plate umpire. He has an earpiece in, and as soon as the ball...
That's how it worked in the Atlantic League.
Yeah, and as soon as the ball crosses the plate, it's almost instant ball or strike. I thought we were going to have E.T. or something back there, you know, calling balls. So I didn't know what it was going to be, but apparently it's going to be a real umpire.
R2-D2, base hit for Trey Morgan. LSU's got 2 on with 1 out. What would Earl Weaver do with a robot umpire?
I don't think that's
pour a jug of coffee over
I don't
his head?
think that's a good combination at all. That's really asking for trouble.
Jim Schlossnagel's not going to waste any time. Good outing for Ryan Prager to this point, but he allowed 3 base runners in the 4th, and he's got 2 on here in the 5th. Prager went a season-high 6 last time out on 92 pitches, and he'll exit this one with 79 under his belt today. Robert Hogan is the new pitcher for Texas A&M. Right-hander comes out of the pen. I'll tell you more about Hogan. Recap the day for Prager right after this.
It's that time again. Sneakers squeaking, balls bouncing, refs whistling, and fans eating Arby's Reuben while they coach from their living rooms. Arby's, we have the meats.
Hey CoverGirls, coming to you fresh-faced from home. Remember that? I was a CoverGirl in 1998, and today I'm a CoverGirl. Thanks to Simply Ageless, America's #1 anti-aging foundation. With the plumping power of hyaluronic acid complex. It's skincare and makeup in one for instant wrinkle reduction and healthy glowing skin. Once a CoverGirl, always a CoverGirl. With Simply Ageless. From easy, breezy, beautiful, CoverGirl.
Who do you think you are? Canceling plans? Commanding a room? Being your own biggest fan? Who said you could do that? Say no to settling. No to compromising. Yes to getting all of the above. Who? No, really. Tell us. Who do you think you are? You're you. And TJ Maxx is where you can afford to be you to the max.
A good crew knows conditions can change, especially in life.
It's a boy.
That's why the crew at Carvana gives you 7 days to make sure your car fits your needs. Triplets. This calls for third row seating. Finding the right car can smash your budget. But the crew at Carvana makes it easier to shop for thousands of cars at the right price. So breaking in the new ride won't break the bank. Looks like this little piggy gets to see another day. So he thinks.
So here's right-hander Robert Hogan, who threw an inning and a third last night in A&M's 11-7 win. He's from North Oak, Minnesota, out of Mounds View High School, and then went to North Iowa Community College before coming to A&M. 1-1 with a 2.35, 11 strikeouts in 7 2/3 innings. Six feet even, 200 pounds. Also played football in high school. Quarterback, kicker, punter. Did about everything. Didn't you punt for a minute?
I did. Punted and kicked. Had one of them old straight-on boots on, straight-on kicking, size 14.
What, you have lead in your shoes? It's the longest field goal Ben McDonald ever kicked.
38 yards, straight on. Right through the middle, barely made it.
Hogan replaces Prager, who went 4 1/3. And he'll start with Cade Doty, who's got a strikeout and a walk. In for a strike to Doty. LSU trails by 4. Opportunity here with 2 on and 1 out in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. LSU quite capable of coming back here. The question is, can the LSU bullpen stack some zeros to give this offense and this explosive offense a chance to come up with a 3-run homer like they have a chance to do right now?
Doty's sitting on 6 home runs in the season. He's batting .500 this weekend. .389 overall. He's about 40 points higher against right-handers. Hogan misses low and away.
Robert Hogan, low 90s type fastball, a couple different breaking balls. You'll see him shape a curveball and a slider. He'll throw some left-handers, a few change-ups from time to time.
Hogan from just north of Minneapolis. You think he appreciates his spring weather?
Oh.
Mid-70s today in Baton Rouge. Tough to get outside and play high school ball in Minnesota until later. It is a crisp 59 degrees in Minneapolis right now. It was in the mid-30s this morning. 2-2.
Yeah, 59, not too bad.
Doty walked and scored in the 4th. That was when LSU pushed 2 across. Thanks to a Berry line drive and a Thompson sac fly. 2-2 pitch. Just off the plate.
Boy, you talk about seeing it good, huh? 2-2 count, and Hogan just rips a breaking ball. Maybe a ball off the outside corner, and Cade Doty. So we're going from 0-2 to 3-2.
Payoff. Line drive. That's a base hit to left. McManus going to come around to score. RBI single, Cade Doty, and LSU has runners at first and third with 1 out.
Now, how about that at bat by Cade Doty? You get down 0-2, you spit on a couple balls just off the outside corner. You work it back and you get a 3-2 breaking ball on that. But boy, he recognized it, hopped right out of Hogan's hand, sits back on it, and finds the barrel. Cade Doty continues to drive in runs. That's 29 on the year, 3rd best in the SEC.
Dylan Cruz singled. He's 1 for 2. Got that knock his last time up. That time Hogan reached back for more and missed low and away with 91. Cruz with a ground ball, chance for 2, and got him. And that'll end the inning. Bose to Kaler to Claunch, and they want to look at it and double check.
Boy, what a turn by Boast. How about this throw coming back? And you be the judge at home on this. That is super close. Well, Kaler got rid of this ball and fired a dart to first base. I love the stretch on the back end, too, by Claunch. And that's about as close as it gets.
I think he's safe. I think that foot hit the bag. That last angle was the best look before the ball went into the glove.
Boy, this is huge. LSU would push home another run if it gets overturned and extend the inning. This might be your best look, Tommy.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if there's enough there.
I rescind my previous statement.
To overturn that. I mean, it's not a wrong call either way here, but that's why the call on the field is always the most important. And no, there's no such thing as a tie goes to the runner.
Ryan DeBrouwer, home plate umpire on the headset. Jay Johnson is chatting about it on the first baseline. And for an A&M team looking to pull off a series sweep, this could be the highest leverage moment of the game.
Yeah. And this is where A&M has been so good all year long. You look at where they're fielding in the SEC. They have not committed one error in this series. They have been clean on defense, and that's what a bunch of new infielders because of injuries, and yet they've still come up big on defense.
You know, I miss working with you. I really miss the way you say era.
Is there another way to say it?
No, not for you. No, it's perfect. Cruz hasn't taken his helmet off. Here's the call from Birmingham. Oh! And so the inning continues. Trey Morgan's run counts. Cruz aboard on a fielder's choice. And now the freshman Hogan has to face Jacob Berry. Berry represents a tying run. And Hogan won't get a chance to face him. The switch hitting Berry will face a new A&M pitcher. This is Jacob Polish.
Jacob Polish pitched in game 1 of this series and did a really good job. Pretty good arm from the left side too. Fastball to tick into the low 90s and a really good breaking ball that he likes to get down and into the right-handed hitters.
So Hogan chased after they would be double playing. It's overturned on video review. Instead of ending the inning, it is extended, and the 4-hole hitter Berry will look to continue this possible LSU comeback.
Arby's, 2 for $6 every day. Arby's classic roast beef, adored by billions. 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's. We have the meat.
A good crew is efficient. That's why Carvana's crew of experts created a 100% online experience, turning 8 hours of pounding the pavement into 15 minutes of shopping from home.
Smells like I'm getting a new car.
Bet your sweet rump roast you are.
Language?
I've worked with a lot of great crews, but the crew at Carvana created a great way for you to sell your car online in under 2 minutes. They'll even pick it up and pay you on the spot. So, sell your car and feel like a real winner.
Let me be direct. Some people are paying more than double for teeth straightening with Invisalign. And then there's Smile Direct Club. You get a smile you love directed by one of their doctors with aligners sent directly to you. So the savings go directly to you. 60% less than Invisalign. And Smile Direct Club guarantees your smile for life. Your life. Choose Smile, choose Direct.
Smile Direct Club.
Smile Direct Club. Love that song.
Jacob Polish, senior transfer from Stanford, who went to Dallas Jesuit, enters the game for Texas A&M to face Jacob Berry.
Yeah, he was good Friday night. 2 1/3 out of the bullpen Friday night for A&M. Gave up 2 hits, 1 run, struck out 3, did not walk a batter. And anytime A&M gets a chance to turn Jacob Berry around and make him hit from the right side, that's what they're going to do.
Oh. Pitch for a College World Series team at Stanford last year. Had a great freshman campaign, was a freshman All-American. Pitching primarily out of the bullpen. Berry struggled against lefties this year. That's why they go to Polish.
Yeah, you got to be feeling a little bit better about himself because he did pick up a base hit against the lefty starter Prager his last time up, did Berry. RBI single out towards right center field. And that hole is there for him again if he can hit it. And Texas A&M has been very aggressive with their shifts this weekend. And we even saw in one at bat last night, Jacob Berry came to the plate and A&M took an infielder off the field and played 4 outfielders, which you don't see very often.
Jim Schlossnagle said he had it in his mind for a while, but he still hesitated to pull the trigger. He didn't do it until late in the count when he had a hitter's count.
And it paid off, too. I mean, Jacob Berry hit a rocket out to right center field, and exactly where you had a 4th outfielder out there.
Now, Austin Bosch is a starting second baseman. He's an outfielder by trade. That made the decision a little bit easier. Happened to, obviously, with nobody on base. 1-1. It's 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, what Polish showed me the other night was a really solid fastball, but the difference maker was that slider. And he was able to start it in the zone, just about the middle part of the plate, and had it break down and into the right-handed hitters. And that's how he picked up all 3 of his strikeouts in 2 1/3 innings of work.
Polish has pitched against Jay Johnson's teams a couple of times, including in Omaha on June 21st, picked up the save. Went deep in relief of that game following Alex Williams. That was a Stanford blowout. But went 3 2/3 to get the save. Here's the 3-1. One on, 2 out, 2-run game. Berry with 8 home runs in the season, all from the left side. Sharply hit through the hole. It's a base hit. Cruz on his way to third. Jacob Berry turning around those splits now. Last 2 hits have come against lefties.
Yeah. And you see the approach is different too. I mean, he's gotten away from thinking, okay, I'm going to try to pull the ball. The approach is now is let it travel. Let me see it as long as I can. And you're going to leave that whole right side wide open, as you can see right there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit a bouncing ball right there where the second baseman normally plays. So LSU 1st and 3rd here with 2 runs in and 2 out.
Jordan Thompson drove home a run with a sac fly last time up. He doubled his first time up against the freshman Prager. That was the first hit of the game for LSU. They only had one hit first trip through the order. Upstairs, 1-0. Popped him up. Minnick fighting the sun, and he'll squeeze it for the third out. LSU still trying to come back. I got 2 in the fourth, 2 more in the fifth, and it's a 6-4 A&M lead as we head to the sixth.
Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana, enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Smile Direct Club.
These are Smile Direct Club aligners. They're laser cut for comfort to gently straighten teeth under a doctor's direction. They can turn a smile like this into a smile like this in as little as 4 to 6 months for less than $3 a day. So choose comfortable, choose fast, choose affordable, choose smile. See how much insurance will cover at SmileDirectClub.com.
Welcome to Sling TV's Fan Freakout Zone, where basketball fans are free to watch and let it all out. Check out our trash talk tape.
You're crying. Nobody needs it. You're overrated, Chad.
And her team is winning. Here's the mascot massage room where you can relax during tense games.
Oh, I love you, Lobster.
This is our busted bracket break room. We're gonna need more TVs.
Oh, yeah.
Let it all out when you watch with Sling, the basketball you love at a price you'll love. Try it today.
Between these two staffs, and that goes all the way down to the groundskeeper. That's Tyler Lenz, the head groundskeeper here at LSU, who joined the Tigers from Ed Mangum's sensational crew with the Atlanta Braves, World Series champs, by the way. But before that, he was at TCU, and Jim Schlossnagle was there. And Schloss called him into his office one day and said, hey, is this what you want to do? Because let's get focused. There's a culture here with this baseball program, and basically saying anything that's worth your time doing is worth your time doing right.
Sure.
And as I was talking with Schloss before the game, Tyler came up, shook his hand, said, hey, I want to thank you for pushing me hard and getting the best out of me. People, Ben, in all walks of life like to be coached hard and dealt with directly.
Yes. And being honest, I think. And Schloss was being honest, you know. Hey, this is what you want to do. You got to pick it up a little bit. But I did find out the other day that the grounds crew people take their job very seriously.
How did you find this out?
Well, I tweeted there was an explosion right before Game 1 on Friday night, and there was a leak right behind home plate. So I took a picture of it.
Oh, hold on a second.
A video, rather.
Hold on. It was behind the mound.
Yeah.
And it was a geyser, not a leak.
That's big time. I tweeted out the video of it and said, bring your rubber boots and bring a Piro if you're coming to the game tonight. And, of course, the grounds crew didn't take it too good. But I was laughing with them, not at them.
Jack Moss with a leadoff single. He's got a 2-hit game. Did you put on your boots and go help him out?
I actually have a pair in my truck. I almost did, but they got it figured out. I don't know what happened, but it was a big-time leak.
Well, that's where the hose goes.
That's where they
right?
connect the hose in to water the field, obviously, before the game. And so when they got ready to turn it off, they could not turn it off. Something apparently broke.
See, you're a bad influence on me. Here I was telling an uplifting story about Tyler Lenz, a guy who worked for Ed Mangum, who's one of the most respected groundskeepers in all of Major League Baseball, and you bring up the one time ever that he's had a geyser.
Well, what I'm getting at is they did a wonderful job, Tom, because if you could have seen
nice
how much water was on the field, and yet the game started on time. Just go to Twitter and check it out. I got a nice video of it.
Not where I want the story to go.
I mean, the water was shooting up 8 foot.
Here's Troy Claunch dealing with the sore left hand after colliding with the wall over there. He's 2 for 3. I guess it just goes to show you that expectations are high around this program no matter what role you have. Claunch had an RBI single in the first. Jim Schlossnagel's coming out to talk with Claunch. They're worried about this hand, I think.
Yeah, and you wonder, left hand, so it's the bottom hand on the bat.
No visit, injury-related discussion.
Now that's where he might have injured that hand. See, extended right there and no time to pull that hand back in.
Into center field, drifting Cruz. Barry is there, and catch made by Dylan Cruz in a very dry center field. The weather has been perfect this weekend. It never rains in Death Valley. There was some water on the field.
There we go. Like, that's a problem.
It's only a problem if you don't fix it.
Well, they fixed it. They got it turned off, and look, the game went off on time.
Hold on, he just tried to put the lid on it.
Beautiful.
They just put the cap and it'll stop.
They had to bring out a pump and pump it off the field, but they got it. It's perfect.
Good for the Worms. Fastball just off the plate. We've seen, going back to what you said about TrackMan, we've seen a couple pitches in this game that I feel like, my limited experience just sitting in this booth, I feel like in years past were strikes. And I'm not saying this is a good or bad strike zone, but could we be seeing the influence of TrackMan already?
100%. I mean, you put yourself in an umpire's shoes. If he's going to get graded, and he wants his grade to be good, which means he wants to really call a strike and a ball. And if he misses too much, then, and who knows where they go with this? Are they going to use the grading systems to maybe do the College World Series? Are you going to use the grading system? The best, most consistent guys get to do the bigger games.
As far as I know, the SEC is the only league using TrackMan for their umpires.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I know the SEC, which always loves to be first, especially in technology issues.
And we know at the big league level, they instituted a grading system on the umpires several years ago. And so I think you've seen the strike zone and all those marginal pitches that you're talking about, that the 50-50 ball that maybe we used to get, now all of a sudden becomes an 80-20 ball being a ball because they don't want to feel like they're missing too many pitches.
I have felt like, and admittedly, you've been doing games this season way more than I have as conference play has just started, but I felt like the games are longer than they've ever been. Now, part of that is due to what we talked about before, lack of true aces. You know, you don't have Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter going out there and shoving for 8 and 9 innings. So obviously, higher scoring games last longer, more calls to the bullpen, extend the game, yada yada. But if this is an issue, we're going to have to ask ourselves, and we meaning the folks, the collective we, and the folks who run baseball, what do we want out of college baseball when it comes to the strike zone?
And we don't want 5-hour ball games. We all know. I think everybody can agree to that. You're not going to keep a viewing audience for 5 hours. There's no way. And so
you'd have to start telling knock-knock jokes.
It's going to be a lot. Look, we're going to get into a whole lot of chicken feet and a whole lot of other things if it goes that far. But, I mean, that's not where we want our game. And the truth of it is, the pitchers, again, now there are some, but the pitchers as wholes are not good enough to be just into the strike zone.
Jack Leiter would have had no problem with a strike zone that's of major league size.
And again, he has elite stuff. Where even when he's over the middle part of the plate, his ball's exploding, and so he misses bats anyway. But you talk about the average pitcher, no, they don't have that kind of control to just pepper the outside parts of the plate. They need a ball on each side. And the offense, obviously, now, if we were at a point where we were at the big leagues last year where we had to stop all the sticky stuff because there was a lack of offense, I get it. But we're to the point now, offense is not an issue right now, so why would we shrink the strike zone?
That's a great question, yeah. Brett Minnick homered his last time up. He was 3 for 3 in this game. I love the idea. I love the theory of holding umpires accountable.
Sure.
And finding the most consistent guys, because we have seen, listen, just like ball players, there's some umpires that are better at certain things than others. So some guys who have better, more consistent strike zones than others. And we've even seen guys with inconsistent strike zones because of rotations make it behind the plate in Omaha in key games.
That's right. Yeah, because at the end of the day, as a pitcher or a hitter, you just want consistency. If it's a strike in the first inning, it should be a strike in the fifth inning. It should be a strike in the ninth inning, no matter what, you know. And so at the end of the day, you're just searching for consistency, whether you're hitting or pitching.
First time Brett Minnick has been retired this afternoon. As Dutton picks up his second strikeout. Here's Dylan Rock. Talking about Rock earlier in his time at UTSA. In his limited role as a salesperson for L'Oreal, he doesn't look like a fragrance salesperson, a perfume sampler, does he? 6'1", 210.
I'd like to know how he did. How successful of a salesman was he?
I mean, he'd be better off selling eye black than perfume, in my opinion.
He may have had maybe he had something he was working on, you know, maybe under the table. Maybe he said, well, this might be a great way to meet women, you know.
Could be.
Or maybe he's smarter than all of us.
Maybe he was looking for the employee discount for his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he fits one through the hole on the left side. Rock smells good in this one. He's got 2 hits in his last couple. Throw to third. And Moss made it in there before the throw after stumbling his way between second and third. Got to take that piano off his back. Nolan Cain is the third base coach for Texas A&M, former Tiger.
The ball gets through between short and third, but DiGiacomo right here. Really not aggressive getting this ball and getting. He just didn't think runner going from first to third. And boy, it was almost a wipeout halfway there, but makes it into third base. And it was little things like that, you know, that make a difference defensively sometimes, you know. And I'm picking on Giovanni a little bit here, but I didn't feel like he went after that ball with the intent of that runner could go to first or third. I have to get it in.
Nolan Cain, former Tiger, longtime assistant to Paul Maneri, certainly aware of DiGiacomo's arm. We'll have a visit on the other side.
Yeah, well, Nolan Cain pitched here for 4 years in uniform here at LSU for another 8 years.
This is Jason Kelly, the pitching coach for LSU. I was talking to Nolan before the game, and I said, you know, those colors don't look right on you. We've seen them in purple and gold forever. And he said, I know it's different, but it doesn't look different for me because his high school was also the Aggies.
There you go.
So I wore maroon back in his high school days.
Nolan's got his family back in town. Obviously a lot of friendships made here over the years.
Good resource for Jim Schlossnagle looking for a place to eat Thursday night after practice. Just ask your third base coach.
Yeah, I told Nolan, I said, look like you slimmed up a little bit. He said, yeah, not quite as much fried food over in College Station.
Well, you trade out the fried food here for the barbecue.
Yeah, I kind of like me some barbecue now. When they let me go back to College Station.
Your picture, I was just there for the NIT game yesterday. If you're curious, your picture is still up in the post office.
It is?
Yeah, most wanted. Knocked off. Well, they'll give him 4. Targac intentionally walked here. And that'll load the bases. Of course, that legendary series. Chuck Knobloch and #1 Texas A&M lost 2 games in one day, did you guys?
That's right.
Denied him a trip to Omaha.
1989. That was fun, though. Incredible fan base there in Aggieland.
Okay, so after all that, Dutton will not face Taylor Smith. They bought some time for the bullpen, and that'll bring Eric Rieselman in. That'll chase us to a break. A&M with the bases loaded, 2 out in the 6th, and the Tigers going back to the pen.
Carvana's had a lot of firsts. 100% online car buying, car vending machines, and now putting you in control of your financing. At Carvana, get personalized terms, browse for cars that fit your budget, then customize your down payment and monthly payment. And these aren't made up numbers. It's what you'll really pay, right down to the penny. Whether you're shopping or just looking, it only takes a few seconds and it won't affect your credit score. Finally, a totally different way to finance your ride. Only from Carvana.
With Farmers Auto multi-policy discount, the more policies you have with us, the more you could save on your auto insurance.
Hey, hon.
Hi, honey.
Like what?
Well, you'd get a discount for insuring your jet skis and boat, RV, life, home, and more. You could save up to 45%.
That's a whole lot of discounts.
Well, we offer coverage for a whole lot of things, and you could save a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks.
What's up, Dad?
17-car garage you got there?
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Before treating your chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more, you're not the only one with questions about Botox. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they even start, with about 10 minutes of treatment once every 3 months. So ask your doctor if Botox is right for you, and if a sample is available.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
In a survey, 92% of current users said they wish they talked to their doctor and started Botox sooner. Plus, right now, you may pay $0 for Botox. Ask your doctor about Botox today.
This is Eric Raiselman, sophomore from San Ramon, California, 6'2", 188-pound right-hander. And he enters with the bases loaded for A&M, 9th appearance of the season.
Yeah, he can rack up the strikeouts, Tommy. It's a big arm. 11 1/3 innings pitched, only 7 hits, but how about the bottom line? 21 strikeouts and only 11 1/3, 3 walks. Got a great story with this kid. He went to University of San Francisco, had Tommy John surgery last year, and only 8 months after TJ surgery, he's back on the mound pitching. I don't understand why. I asked him, he said, well, we had some guys get injured and coach wanted me to go pitch. I said, that's not a reason, but he did it anyway. And he got blistered, just because most guys take 12 months to come back. At the end of the year, he started pitching a little bit better, but still the ERA was above 5. So he gets an invite to the Cape Cod League, and now he's about 12, 13 months post-surgery, and all of a sudden the velo really ticked up. He started hitting 95s, 96s, and 97s. Of course, LSU recognized him and saw him. So he's been good for LSU out of the bullpen. It's pretty much just one pitch, though. It's all fastballs. Here's my best pitch, hit it. Occasionally he'll throw in a little wrinkle. But for the most part, it's going to be 90% fastballs. And if he's on his game, it's going to be anywhere from 94 up to 98.
Second trip to the plate with the bases loaded for Taylor Smith. He popped up to the catcher to end the third. Big opportunity for A&M, but I want to follow up on Raiselman. What is, in your opinion, your expert opinion, you've coached through it, you've lived through it, you've seen it, what is a more typical timeline coming back from Tommy John?
Tommy John, I think the average is right about 12 months before you're back in play. You know, it just takes some time. And it's not because the arm doesn't feel good. It's just because it needs a little bit more healing to do. You know, and I asked him, I said, why would you come back 8 months? And he said, well, the coach talked me into coming back.
That's not a good coach.
And I said, that's not a good reason to come back. Now, it worked out for him. He was able to get through it. He didn't re-injure himself, but the velo was down a little bit. The ball wasn't coming out of his hand like he wanted it to. Took his lumps a little bit, but then it really turned on another 4 months later. So that's typically about the average. We see at the big league levels, it takes some guys 2 years to get over Tommy John. But the average, I would say, because I watch my son go through it and watch him go through all the rehabs and everything, it's right around 12, 13 months. And then it could be another year before everything really feels right again.
That's the same University of San Francisco just fired their coach a week ago. That one just off the plate.
There's another one of those 50-50 balls you're talking about. We see that ball called a lot. But Brian DeBrouwer behind home plate. Look, I'll say this. The strike zone has been a little bit smaller, but it has been consistent from the first pitch to the last pitch.
And as you know, even umpires in the major leagues have different reputations for those that have a tight strike zone or a wider one, taller or lower.
Absolutely.
There's really not enough. We don't have access to the research and the numbers on these guys, and it's a small sample size relative to Major League umpires who do it for 20 years and 162 games a year, 40 games behind the plate.
And the truth of it is these guys you see out here, most of them have another job. The big league umpires, that's all they do.
Yeah.
And so they get more reps behind home plate TV. These guys probably do other stuff in the middle of the week. They have other jobs, and then they umpire a lot on the weekend, sometimes in the middle of the week. So this might be a second job for a lot of them.
Reiserman at De La Salle High School before he went to USF. 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. I'd love to catch up with Paul Gilliam. I'd probably reach out to him this week and say, what are we doing with this TrackMan information and how is the strike zone drawn up?
Yeah, and that's my hopes with this. I'm okay with that. I just hope the strike zone is drawn up a little bit, more typical of what we see from a college strike zone.
One-two pitch to the catcher, Smith. A&M already up by 2, trying to extend it. And Reiselman misses low at 94. Smith doubled and scored his last time up. Time called.
Pitch clock warning by the third base
how about
umpire.
that?
See his stopwatch? So that's what happens. So with nobody on base, the institution has a pitch clock. The university does out there. When runners get on base, then it becomes the third base umpire's responsibility. He has a stopwatch on the pitch clock.
The 2-2. Popped him up again. Doty and Thompson. This will be Thompson, the shortstop, who takes it. That was an adventure, and the Aggies leave the bases loaded in the 6th. 6-4, A&M with the lead.
Teaching her how to drive. But Dad, why not use Greenlight to help her save for her own car? Mowing lawns, getting paid. Oh, smoothies. Is that strawberry? Soon, she'll go from washing your car to flexing with her own. Even better, teach her how to invest in cars.
Together, you can navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing.
Because when you teach her how to be smart about money, she'll go far. Real far. Invest in your best investment. Greenlight.
Did I tell you I bought our car from Carvana?
Yeah, Ma. It was so easy. I found the perfect car.
Under budget, too. And I get 7 days to love it or my money back. I love it! I thought online meant no one to help me. But Susan from Carvana had all the answers. She didn't try to upsell me. Not once. Because they're not salespeople. Where do you guess who just checked in on me?
Mom.
Susan from Carvana.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
Here's the game summary. Comes with its own music. It summarizes the game. 6 runs on 14 hits for A&M. 4 runs, 6 hits. A couple of errors for LSU. The freshman Prager went 4 1/3 for A&M. They got 3 solo home runs. They've left 11 on, but they have a 2-run lead twice. They've left the bases loaded. And Hilliard allowed 10 hits and 5 earned. That's our story today. And the rubber match of this, pardon me, not the rubber match. I got that all wrong. A&M going for a sweep.
And there's never been a sweep between these two programs in the history of the matchups. But a chance for one today.
Leadoff man on. Jack Merrifield gets hit by the pitch. Usually these games are close. Came in with 24 SEC matchups. 10 of them had been decided by 1 run.
Well, each of the first 2 games were back and forth. The Texas A&M took the lead here at the top of the first, and they have not given the lead back. But LSU's creeping back into it. But the first 2 games, seesaw back and forth. And again, if you weren't watching, Both of these first two games were tied going to the top of the ninth inning.
They've been close forever. First game they ever played was in 1907. LSU won that game 3-2. Giovanni DiGiacomo 0 for 2. Ground out and a fly out. Representing the tying run, and shows bunt, takes a strike. A couple of state championships in high school in Naples, Florida. Also played football, ran track. He's got elite speed. Swing and a miss. Hey, speaking of track, how's our former LSU pole vaulter doing? Whose brother played baseball here?
Oh,
Antoine Duplantis' brother, Mondo. I just felt like I looked up a few weeks ago and he had another world record.
I think you're right. I think I saw that. God,
did you ever pole vault?
You kidding me? Could you imagine 6'7" running that thing with a tomato stick in their hand trying to get up over it? That would have been a bad accident.
A tomato stick?
There's no way. Pole vault.
A hit to Giacomo. Polish has hit back-to-back hitters, and now LSU brings a go-ahead run to the plate.
Well, not the way Jacob Polish wanted to start the bottom of the sixth inning. Gets ahead with 2 strikes and then just leaves one way too far in. You can see where the catcher, Taylor Smith, was set up on the outside part of the plate.
Tyler McManus has been walked twice.
Oh, what do you do here? Tyler McManus came into this series really struggling at the plate. He was hitting 115 on Friday night, but had a 2-for-4 night, including his first home run of the year. And he backed it up again last night with a big night, another home run and a 2 RBI single.
Yeah, 4 of his 7 ribbies have come in the first 2 games of this series.
And he's starting to show up. I mean, this is the guy that played at Samford last year, transferred in at Samford. He hit 356 last year with 11 home runs and 56 RBIs. He just got off to a rough start offensively, but he has shown up the last 2 games.
I'll tell you what, the Samford Bulldogs, we talk about Pac-12 players coming in. They've turned into a pipeline for a lot of SEC teams. Auburn's got a couple ones, including the slugger Sonny DeShera.
I like him. He's my man.
Casey Dunn, the previous head coach at Samford, is now at UAB, just moving up the street. And so you got Tony David, the head coach there now. You take the job and see all these players leave for SEC teams. Welcome to the transfer portal, fellas. Just off the plate inside, 2-1.
That was the pitch that was so good for Jacob Polish on Friday night. He was able to take that breaking ball to the right-handers and start it right about center part of the plate or inner third and have it break down and in, but he's not had the command of it so far today. He's trying to create a ground ball. That's what he's trying to do, trying to turn 2.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Tyler McManus, native of Slidell, Louisiana. Slidell High School before Delgado and then Samford.
It's getting harder and harder to keep up with these kids. You know, it's just like it's almost like free agency every year. But if you're trying to rebuild a program, the transfer portal can put you years ahead.
That one fouled off the label.
I mean, you think about it. In years past, when you're trying to rebuild a program, it would take you 2, 3, 4 years to get that program built out. If you can sell your program and get the right deals going, I mean, it can happen in 1 year.
You can also bring guys with you. Jay Johnson brings an All-American with him.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it all yet.
Well, it's kind of back to normal for college baseball. This is the way it used to be. Come on over, don't sit out. Breaking ball in there for strike 3. Tyler McManus retired for the first time in this game. A huge out for Jacob Polish.
And this what made Jacob Polish so good on Friday night. Watch this pitch. And again, a little bit too close to take. I think maybe, I'm guessing Tyler McManus thought it was up. But giant pitch by Jacob Polish for Texas A&M. Now they're just one pitch away from rolling the ground ball and getting out of this inning.
Braden Gilbert 0 for 2 in this one. He's in a bit of a mini slump. Homered in his first game as a Tiger in his second at bat. Blocked by Smith. Do you think the transfer portal was a bad thing for college baseball?
I don't know if I like the transfer portal as a whole in college sports. You know, I feel like it's
bounce off the mound into center field. Here comes Merrifield. DiGiacomo to third. LSU makes it a one-run game on a Braden Gilbert single, his first in a while.
Big time lick right there. Braden Gilbert sitting down in the 9-hole. Pretty much all year long he'd been hitting 4, 5, and 6, but struggling lately, but not this time. Lefty on lefty matchup. He hits it right back from whence it came. A nice effort by Austin Boast at second base. That pushes home the Baker Jack Merrifield. Giovanni DiGiacomo ends up at third.
And that takes us back to the top of the order, and Trey Morgan, who snapped an 0 for 11 skid with a 5th inning single. Tying run at third, go ahead run at first, one down. Chopper over the head of the third baseman Targach, and LSU has tied this game at 6.
Well, the Captain Morgan, hadn't had a base hit. Actually picked up a base hit the last time up. 0 for 9 before that, but back-to-back singles. He didn't hit that one hard, but he hit it in the right spot. Watch the ball come off the dirt. He kicks about 20 foot in the air and over Targach's head at third base.
And so Cade Doty has a chance to give LSU its first lead of the game. A&M scored 2 in the first, and the Aggies haven't trailed. Whoa! Smith had to sprawl after that one. And that'll bring Nate Yeski out of the A&M dugout. After Doty, it's Cruz, and then the switch hitting Barry. And they got a lefty, Will Johnson, getting loose for Texas A&M.
Oh, he's loose now. He just threw one all the way down here to home plate. And this is where the struggles had been a little bit for A&M this year. The starters have been really consistent. The bullpen came in with an ERA about 5.5, but in this series, the bullpen has been pretty solid.
Overall this year, it was a concern for Jim Schlossnagle. 51% of their runs have been given up in the final 3 innings. All right, so think about that. 7th, 8th, and 9th. And road losses don't even play the bottom of the 9th, right? So
that's right. Yeah, because they'd had some leads. They'd had some leads going into the latter part of ball games, as you mentioned, and wasn't able to hold on to a few of them.
Entering the weekend, an ERA of nearly 5.5, but much better numbers this series. Out of play, 1-1. It's Guy Doty, who is hitting .538 with runners in scoring position as an RBI single tonight.
And he's gotten a lot of opportunities because he's hit mostly in the 3 and the 4 hole for LSU. And Morgan and Cruz and Barry had been on a lot in front of him. That's the reason why he has 29 RBIs.
Yanked foul. A Doty knock, things could be turning up LSU. You know, Sam Burns has a 1-stroke lead going into 18 at the Valspar.
Nice.
LSU golfer, former. And Kim Mulkey's women's basketball team come from behind win against Jackson State in the women's NCAA tournament yesterday.
Yeah, they got a little bit of a scare, up big and then down by 10, I think it was, and it came back to win it.
Didn't her son play baseball?
I think so. That's what the rumor was for years.
I'd heard something about that. Two on for Doty with 1 out. Here's the 2-2 from Polish to short. Handled there to second for 1. Bose to first is late. But the Aggies get the key second out. Kaler to Bose. Now the go-ahead run at third.
Yeah, a little bit of trouble by Bose getting that ball out of his glove. That might have been the difference in Cade Doty being out at second base, but instead it extends the inning and brings Cruz to the plate.
And that's an outfielder playing second base.
Right.
Bose went to Jim Schlossnagle a couple of weeks ago and said, listen, I know we're struggling at this position. We're struggling with our lineup depth. I can play second.
And look, they have been outstanding. And that won't go down as an error, obviously. They don't have an error for this series. But for the most part, they have made every play this weekend defensively.
Dylan Cruz, ground ball to Bose. Backhand, Smothers, gets it to second for the third out. What a play by Austin Bose to end the inning. You know, when he went into Schloss's office and said, hey, I can play second, he was right. This is key.
Do it, young fella. Lays out. Watch this. Takes his time. Knows he has enough time. A nice stretch by Kaler, the shortstop, and that gets Texas A&M off the field. But we're all new. We head to the 7th inning, 6-6.
Carvana's had a lot of firsts. 100% online car buying, car vending machines, and now putting you in control of your financing. At Carvana, get personalized terms, browse for cars that fit your budget, then customize your down payment and monthly payment. And these aren't made up numbers. It's what you'll really pay, right down to the penny. Whether you're shopping or just looking, it only takes a few seconds and it won't affect your credit score. Finally, a totally different way to finance your ride. Only from Carvana.
Grab my hand! Wait, are you sweating? Didn't you use Allspice dry spray? Of course I did. I'm not an idiot. Lie to me, Dolph Lundgren. It says right here. Allspice has long-lasting sweat protection. I'm telling you, I used it. Okay, I lied.
Well, this feels like a Sunday afternoon in the SEC. 6 runs and 14 hits for A&M, 6 on 8, but 2 errors for LSU. Aggies have left the bases loaded twice. They've left 11 men on base. They've left a man on in every inning. Here's Logan Britt. He is 1 for 3 with a solo home run. Jammed him. Dribbler to Merrifield. 1 out. And back to the top of the order now. And Cole Kaler. Kaler, first year as an Aggie. Played at Queen Creek High School in Arizona before going to Hawaii. Same high school that produced Jacob Berry, LSU's right fielder. Kaler would have been a couple of years older than him, I believe. Yeah. His mom, Carrie, played softball at Arizona State. His sister, Kenzie, also played softball in college. She played at South Alabama. And before Kaler made his way to A&M, not only was he at Hawaii, but also a couple of seasons at South Mountain Community College in Phoenix. In the Coastal Plain League, after the 20 season, he played for the team in Macon. They're called the Macon Bacon.
The Macon Bacon.
Macon Bacon in Macon, Georgia. Now that's almost as creative as the former professional hockey team that played years ago in Macon, Georgia. They were called the Whoopie. Macon Whoopie.
The Macon Bacon and the Macon Whoopie. All righty then.
You never know who's watching, by the way. Jim Mishadek is the general manager in the Northwoods Leagues of the Fond du Lac Duck Spiders. Pardon me, Dock Spiders, not Duck. Dock is in a
Dock Spiders.
Yeah. I mean, you run into Dock Spiders all the time, right?
I try not to.
Pests. Jim doing some scouting via the television. See who can convince to come up to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin and play some summer ball.
Probably nice up there that time of the year.
Two pitch to Cole Kaler. Loud ground ball. Doty's got it. 2 down.
Well, Razelman's been good since coming in. Got out of that bases loaded jam at the top of the 6th. Got a fly ball.
Here's Austin Bose. He's 2 for 4. We're talking about the transfer portal in collegiate athletics. Just had a conversation with John Calipari about it last week. They brought in some big transfer guys. Now the season didn't end as Kentucky basketball wanted it to, but they're going back in the portal to have experienced guys play alongside 4- and 5-star freshmen. And he said, listen, I told everybody when they did this, it's not a good idea because it's only going to make teams like ours better. It's only going to make the separation wider.
Yep.
Nick Saban goes and gets starting linebackers from Tennessee to come play at Alabama.
Yeah, and with the NIL thing going, you know, it's like you can go to the highest bidder. And what I hate about the whole transfer portal is while you have kids on campus as a coach, you have to continue to recruit your own kids.
True.
And then it may affect the way you actually coach a kid to try to make him better. So if you get on him too hard and you really try to coach him because you care about him and you want to make him a better player, if he takes it the wrong way, he just takes his ball and he just moves. And that's what I don't like about it. You know, and I think Tyrann Matthews said it best, the Honey Badger. He said, I sat behind Maurice Claiborne and Patrick Peterson my freshman year. And he said, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I played a little bit, but it taught me what I needed to do to get better. And I feel like that's what's lost in our game now, not just in college baseball and college sports, is it's okay if you don't play your freshman year. But it teaches you to get better and understand the things that you have to do in order to get better. But when you can always take your ball and walk, I don't know what we're learning. It feels like competition all of a sudden has left the college game in some ways.
Grounded up the middle. Bose has his 3rd hit of the game, and that will extend the 7th for Jack Moss. But college baseball used to be open transfer policy. David Ross played at Auburn and Florida, right?
Yeah.
Mike Owens, back in the day,
now, I still
left Tulane, went to
I
Georgia
still
Tech.
think you should be able to transfer. If you go to a college because of a certain coach and that coach decides to take another job, I'm okay with you leaving right away. If you're a graduate transfer like Joe Burrow was, I'm okay with you leaving. But I still think it ought to be like it was a few years ago. You transfer? Sure, you can transfer. You're going to sit out a year, but you can transfer. And that'll stop a lot of this, well, I'm not playing shortstop and batting third like I thought I was going to be, and so now I'm just going to take my ball and go somewhere else.
I don't disagree with any of your theory, but in practice, if a head coach can leave and take a new job and he doesn't have to sit out a year, why force that on a player?
Well, and the answer to that, I guess, would be the head coach is a professional. Now, you can make the case that he's getting paid. Now, the players are starting to get paid, which now all of a sudden creates a whole – in other words, if you get a $100,000 contract at LSU one year and Alabama jumps up the next year and say, hey, we'll give you $200,000 to come over here, you know. And so that's why I kind of part ways with the NIL thing as well.
Here's the 0-1, and it's fouled off, 0-2. Moss 2 for 4 today. The next bit of research will be how many former Pac-12 players are now playing in the SEC, and
it's growing.
Yeah, I don't think there are a whole lot of guys leaving the SEC to go play in the Pac-12, and that's an elite conference, right?
Sure,
we know it is. It's just the spotlight's brighter here. Competition is better. TV more often. Obviously better crowds.
No, the best thing the NCAA could do for college baseball is give them more scholarships. We've been jumping up, down, and screaming, hollering for years. 11.7 is just not getting it done. And the game continues to grow, but the scholarships are not growing with it.
0-2 pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, they continue to invest in baseball, whether it's a collective on your campus or specific donors that are just baseball fans, you could get to a point where NIL money gets turned to scholarships.
Sure.
Now, that would not create a balanced field because not everybody would have that. And I hate that it would get to that, but that opportunity is out there. Every football player at BYU got an NIL deal. That essentially all the walk-ons got NIL deals. That takes away your scholarship limitations. It's like when Bear Bryant used to put the football players on swimming scholarships. He did that until they passed the new rules. Said, hold on a second.
So they figured it out.
Your left tackle is not a diver. Two down, top of the 7th. Raiselman had retired the first 3 batters he faced until that Boast single. Two to Moss. Line drive, base hit. Boast to second. And that is the 3rd hit of the game for Jack Moss.
Jack Moss can hit, folks. Came in hitting .396, transferred from Arizona State. When this series began, .396, 3 for 4 day today.
Moss has been through a lot already in his playing career. He originally committed to Virginia as a sophomore without ever playing a varsity game. But then he developed bicep tendonitis, rotator cuff tendonitis, had a UCL strain, an inflamed ulnar nerve. That happened his sophomore year, and it happened, Ben, unfortunately we hear this too often, it happened from throwing too much. Said I was playing first base and third base. I was throwing bullpens,
well,
pitching.
And I do think that's what the majority of the injuries that we're seeing, not just in college ball, but at a younger, high school level. And even before that, I think guys just aren't putting the ball down. And I think it's so important for kids to play multiple sports, push the baseball aside, take 3 months off from baseball. But this year-round play and stuff, I'm telling you what, it is not a good thing in my opinion. More is not better.
Claunch looks at a strike, 1-1. Moss eventually gave up pitching, and he's a great hitter in the Pac-12 last year for Arizona State. He's at first for Claunch. 4-hole hitter is 2 for 4. There's only one home run among the top 4 hitters in this Texas A&M batting order. They're last in the league with 11 home runs in the season. Upstairs.
Texas A&M just continues to put the pressure on LSU. We talked about it last night. They went down in order one time last night in 9 innings. They've not gone down in order 1 inning so far today.
That puts a lot of stress on an already taxed LSU bullpen. Used 8 pitchers eight pitchers game 1, 6 pitchers last night. And it got to a point where Jay Johnson, the head coach, said, we've now settled into a routine where we're playing matchups. He said, I got to get away from that at some point. We just let guys go out and throw. But when your starter doesn't get you deep in the game,
that's right,
you end up having to piece it all together.
And especially it happens in game 1 of a series, and your starter gets knocked out like Ty Floyd did early in the ball game. It just upsets the entire rotation.
Season high 16 hits for Texas A&M, and now that walk to Claunch brings up Brett Minnick, who is 3 for 4.
Right fielder, Brett Minnick.
Yeah,
a couple of singles and a home run.
Raisman had a pretty high pitch count on Friday night, and he's just trying to gut this one out. I don't see the velocity or the command being quite what it was on Friday night, or what he typically is. You got Riley Cooper warming up in the LSU bullpen. He's pitched in both games of this series so far. Paul Gervais, who pitched in Friday night's game, is up and warming as well.
And they'll bring Jason Kelly out. Used to seeing Jason Kelly in purple. He was a pitching coach at Washington when the Huskies made kind of a Cinderella run to Omaha in the College World Series a few years ago. From Santa Maria, California, when he was with Washington and they went to Omaha in 2018, he was named the assistant coach of the year. Put in a couple years at Arizona State.
You mentioned Mondo Duplantis the other day. We're getting word he broke another world record yet today.
Today?
Yes.
Well, the last world record he set, he broke his own record by a centimeter.
A centimeter?
A centimeter. So then must have added another centimeter today.
I'm guessing if he only raised the bar a centimeter, and this is just an educated guess, that he gets paid big money every time he breaks a world record.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He cleared 6.2 meters. That's 20 feet 4 inches on his final attempt. Actually, that was today. That was the record he set today.
Okay, okay.
Surprised you're not following the indoor track and field world more closely, Ben McDonald. 1-0 pitch is lifted foul. 1-1. That's at the World Indoor Championships, by the way.
Where are they holding this?
I don't have the answer to that. I'm going to guess Tokyo. I know where it's not.
I know where it's not.
Not in Slidell.
It's not in Pitkin, Louisiana,
No.
where Garrett Edwards is from.
It's not in Dime Box, Texas, where I once got a speeding ticket. There's a strike, 1-2. 95 that time from Razelman.
He's gutting it out. I mean, he's given everything he's got. He's up 1 ball and 2 strikes and just trying to finish. And I've talked about the one pitch. How many off-speed pitches have you seen from Razelman? And the answer to that is none. He does all of his work with one pitch, that fastball. I think it's a next step for him. He's going to need it as he gets in the SEC play. You better be trying to figure out something off-speed every now and then to keep these hitters off that fastball. Right now, he is working with just a fastball and trying to get out of this inning.
Wow, that was close. 96 just off the plate.
Well, there's that pitch you're talking about, and we've seen this pitch called right here a lot over the last few years in college baseball. But not this time.
Minnick went opposite field with a wall-scraping home run in the 5th. Aggies have left the bases loaded twice already. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fouled that one off.
96, Razelman reaching back for a little bit extra.
The World Indoor Track and Field Championships are being held in Belgrade, Serbia right now.
Nice.
Nice. You said that like you like the cuisine in Serbia. Bo's the runner at third. Moss is at second and Claunch at first. Couple of singles and a walk, all coming with 2 outs here in the 7th. Minnick's already driven in 2 today. Off the plate with 95. Is Razelman throwing harder than he was earlier, or we're just seeing more fastballs?
No, it's been all fastballs. I just think he's emptying the tank right now. He realizes this is his last batter. Either he's going to get out of this inning, or if he don't get this batter, he's coming out of the ball game. He is just emptying everything he has right now to try to get LSU off the field.
Tied at 6 in the 7th. Here's the payoff. And we'll do it again.
I feel like Minnick is in swing mode. I feel like he's swinging. If it's even close, he is swinging.
Looking for something big. The second 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 looking. Aggies have left 14 on base. Razelman right back to the fastball, and we are still tied at 6.
How about you, big fella, huh? Emptied the tank on that one. He knew it was his last batter to face Raresback and just paints a heater right on the inside part of the plate. And he is pumped up, and LSU has all the momentum as we are all square going to the bottom of the 7th inning.
I'm Alfonso, and there's more to me than HIV. There's my career, my cause, my choir. I'm a work in progress. So much goes into who I am. HIV medicine is one part of it.
Dovato is for some adults who are starting HIV-1 treatment or replacing their current HIV-1 regimen. With just 2 medicines in 1 pill, Dovato is as effective as a 3-drug regimen to help you reach and stay undetectable. Research shows people who take HIV treatment as prescribed and get to and stay undetectable can no longer transmit HIV through sex. Don't take Dovato if you're allergic to its ingredients or if you take Dofetilide. Taking Dovato with dofetilide can cause serious or life-threatening side effects. Hepatitis B can become harder to treat while on Dovato. Don't stop Dovato without talking to your doctor, as your hepatitis B may worsen or become life-threatening. Serious or life-threatening side effects can occur, including allergic reactions, lactic acid buildup, and liver problems. If you have a rash and other symptoms of an allergic reaction, stop Dovato and get medical help right away. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems, or if you are, may be, or plan to be pregnant. Dovato may harm your unborn baby. Use effective birth control while on Dovato. Do not breastfeed while taking Dovato. Most common side effects are headache, nausea, diarrhea, trouble sleeping, tiredness, and anxiety.
So much goes into who I am and hope to be. Ask your doctor if treating HIV with Dovato is right for you.
In Baton Rouge, it's a 6-6 game as we head to the home half of the 7th. If the Aggies don't pull this one out, they'll rue the missed opportunities. 3 times in this game, they have left the bases loaded. They have left at least one on in every inning. And Eric Raiselman with a huge strikeout of Brett Minnick to end the 7th. So coming out of the stretch, it's Jacob Berry to lead off the 7th for LSU. We're told that unlike some Sunday get-togethers, there is no curfew in play for this game.
That means we're playing all night.
At least.
At least. Well, I mean, why change now? I mean, we went over 4 hours in each of the first 2 games.
You went. I landed last night. This one's lifted into center field. Playable by Britt. Came in from College Station on that American Airlines Direct and turned the radio on outside of the airport. Listened to an inning or so on my way to the hotel. Went and got a bite to eat.
Now you're
came back.
Now you're really rubbing it in.
Checked the score, and you were in the 6th.
That's right. And there was no rain delay. We almost had one Friday night, but not last night. It was just a plain 4-hour and 52-minute ball game. 9 innings.
4:52. Jay Johnson wants timeout, and he wants to meet with his hitter Jordan Thompson, who is 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. And he'll talk with Jack Merrifield at the same time. What do you think this discussion is about? And as a pitcher, what do you read into it?
I read it a little gamesmanship, maybe. I mean, but Jay's been doing this. I've been watching him a little bit this year. You know, he'll call a offensive conference just like this. You know, 1 out, first inning, or maybe first and second, and talk about the approach and what to look for. And again, you mentioned Jay knows polish pretty good. And of course, they saw him on Friday night.
Polish hit the first 2 batters of the 6th inning. So he has had a couple of issues. He's not been perfect. Took a little something off and missed. 1-1. Jim Schlossnagel saying we're going to speed the game up. We're not calling borderline strikes. Maybe they didn't have mics that close to the field in the Big 12. But he brings up a great point in what we've already discussed.
Yep. Well, I think we're seeing an example of it.
Do the power brokers in college baseball want a quicker game?
Absolutely. I mean, if you think back to some years ago, what was the reason why they instituted the BB Corbett? The idea was because too many runs were being scored and the games were taking too long, right? So the
4-hour MASH marathon.
Right. So you bring in a deader bat. Now they really changed the game in a big way.
Oh no! Right through the wickets on Targach, and LSU's got the go-ahead run on base from Jordan Thompson. A&M had played sterling defense so far this series.
Yeah, I mean, hit right at the third baseman Targach, but right between the legs it goes. And you're right, it had been outstanding defense for Texas A&M all weekend long. We'll see if this one comes back to bite them.
So here's Jack Merrifield with Jordan Thompson aboard. No relation, but that's a surname that has found success in the college baseball world. Witt won a national championship playing for Ray Tanner, South Carolina. Nothing in one to Jack Merrifield, who is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch his last plate appearance. Pulled foul. Thompson only has 1 stolen base in the year.
Yeah, that's something LSU has not done a lot of this year. You look at where they are on stolen bases this year, only 10. That's 13th out of 14 teams in the SEC. You know, you remember Trey Morgan and, of course, Dylan Cruz, both in double digits in stolen bases last year. Trey Morgan does not have 1 stolen base, and Cruz only has 1.
Turned away from a pitch inside, 1-2. The count now to Jack Merrifield.
So Jay Johnson's approach for LSU this year has been more about banging it. You know, we're going to take our swings at it at the plate.
Two and two.
Pretty good at bat going here for Jack Merrifield. You see, this is a pretty good 2-strike approach here. You know, he's not trying to do too much. He's just trying to put bat on ball. The approach has been to the right side, trying to punch through the big hole over there. Choked up a little bit on the knob of that bat, just trying to control the head.
To third. Already an error. Targach, he makes good with it here. 5-4, but they can't quite get the final out. 1 on for Giovanni DiGiacomo. Hey, scary moment at Florida State yesterday. Carol Martin, Mike Martin's wife, was tended to by medical personnel on site, and then they took her for precautionary tests. So meet Mike Martin Jr., the head coach of Florida State, left the game early to join his family at the hospital. FSU announced that she was in good spirits when she left the game after arriving at the hospital. So thoughts and prayers to the Martin family. Florida State looks like an Omaha team again. Of course, seniors' final season, they came through LSU in the Super Regional here to make it back to Omaha. That one bounced. Chance for second. The throw there is in time. Merrifield erased by Taylor Smith on the pitch. It came in 3 feet short.
Boy, what a job by Taylor Smith. Watch him knock this ball down, quickly shuts the mask, and throws a dart down to second base, and just, well, looks like in time he gets Jack Merrifield.
With Geico, we can easily bundle home and car insurance and save even more.
Yeah, try that breakfast burrito.
There isn't too much hot sauce, is there? I have a sensitive palate.
I actually like hot sauce.
How about guacamole?
I don't really know what we're talking about anymore.
Burritos.
Geico.
Get into a spring state of mind with an outdoor brunch. Layer your table with pieces that reflect nature and recipes that celebrate the fresh flavors of the season. Perfect for enjoying time with family and friends.
I got the new Galaxy S22 Ultra on Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband.
Wow.
It's got amazing video on a crazy fast network. I can film whatever I want.
Premium video on a network up to 10 times faster. Now in many more cities. Buy the Galaxy S22 Ultra on Verizon and get the S22 Plus.
Did I tell you I bought our car from Carvana?
Yeah, Ma. It was so easy. I found the perfect car.
Under budget, too. And I get 7 days to love it or my money back. I love it! I thought online meant no one to help me. But Susan from Carvana had all the answers. She didn't try to upsell me. Not once. Because they're not salespeople. Where do you guess who just checked in on me?
Mom.
Susan from Carvana.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
Lots of vitamins A and C. And only 45 calories a serving. Good morning indeed. V8, the original plant-powered drink. Veg up.
6 runs on 16 hits for A&M, but they've left everybody but the 12th man on base today. 6 runs on 8 hits and a couple of errors for LSU. Swing around the league. Everybody else is complete as we play on. Ole Miss lost 19-5 Friday to Auburn, and it won the series with a 15-2 blowout yesterday. That was a blowout Thursday. Nothing close about that 3-game series. Sully got his 600th win. That came in Florida's win over Alabama yesterday, and then Crimson Tide avoided the sweep with the win today. I texted Sully. I said, if you got that many wins, that means we're both getting old.
Sully's been racking up some wins. Got a good team this year, too. I think that's that #1 recruiting class from, 3 years ago, and he's been able to keep Judd Fabian comes back, was supposed to be a first-rounder last year, and got some other pieces, what we talked about earlier, some veteran pieces, some guys that's been around the block once or twice.
Dylan Cruz in center field. Dylan on Dylan crime. Rock is retired. And Ryan Targach coming to the plate. Talking with Jim Schlossnagle before the game today. Speaking of veteran coaches, he got a visit from Skip Bertman yesterday.
Yeah.
You see Skip at the park?
I saw Skip on Friday night, talked to him a little bit. Did a radio show with him on Sunday night. Skip's still doing his thing, man.
Wait, you're doing Sunday night radio shows?
No, I was a guest on a Sunday night show. I went over and where they were at, and we did a Sunday show.
You're more of a prime time, drive time radio guest. What are we doing Sunday nights?
Well, Yellowstone's finished and 1883 is over, and I don't have anything to do on Sunday nights now. And so they called and asked me to come hang out with Skip, and I said, sure.
Yeah. Well, now that my flight has already left town, I'll be around for this Sunday night. We're in the 8th, and we're going to the bullpen for LSU. This will be Riley Cooper. I'll tell you about him and his hair after this.
USAA is made for the safe pilots, like Sergeant Hayden, who won't return a call until the engine's cool. With USAA Safe Pilot, when you drive safe, you can save up to 30% on your auto insurance. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for. Get a quote today.
Ooh, tortoise.
What are you doing?
I'm taking a quiz.
But you're 36 years old and not in school.
Well, thanks for the reminder. But it's a frames quiz by Warby Parker. I answer a few questions, it tells me which glasses are right for my face, and then I can try 5 pairs for free.
Sounds like you've really done your homework.
If there were any homework, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Because I don't have my glasses yet.
Touche.
Yes.
Mint Mobile figured out how to give you a whole year of service for half the price. So I asked Walker Scobell, the amazing actor playing half-size me in our new movie, to help me announce it.
I play a younger you, Ryan.
Yeah. But the half thing works better for the metaphor. So just you go ahead.
Now when you buy a new phone and half a year of service, Mint will give you another half a year free.
Nailed it.
It's a little silly, no?
Maybe the way you say it.
Yeah, I messed up.
Yeah, think about it. Hey, think on it.
Here is 6'2" lefty Riley Cooper, an Arizona transfer, one of 3 that came over with Zay Johnson. Out of Fresno, California, Clovis North High School, former Bronco. 10th appearance on the season. They call him the high leverage lefty.
Yeah, I mean, he's been busy this year, too, and he was busy for Arizona. Led Arizona in appearances last year. Comes to LSU as a transfer portal, and he has been busy. You know, when Javen Coleman, the lefty, went down for LSU, it kind of brought all the other left-handers in that bullpen and kind of bumped them up a notch or two as far as where they were going to pitch in high-leverage situations. And Riley Cooper is the #1 lefty. Now, he's pitched in both of the games in this series, so making his 3rd appearance of the series.
Cooper broke his high school single-season strikeout record his junior year, then the career record his senior year in limited time. That was the COVID year when the draft was shortened to 5 rounds. Any other year, he probably gets drafted high enough to turn down college.
Yeah, it's an upper 80s fastball. He'll show you a 90, maybe a 91 occasionally, but the outpitch for him is the changeup. He can take that changeup, circle change, and land it just about in any situation.
Coming out of high school is a big Clayton Kershaw fan. Now he's got the beard to match the Dodgers lefty. And for his strike, 1-1. Didn't have the beard at Arizona.
There's a lot going on there, Tommy. There's a lot going on there.
Is he in those westerns that you love to watch? Would he be a character, maybe Yellowstone?
Yeah, I could see it.
Or what was the other one?
1883.
1883. Which one do you like better?
It's the prequel to Yellowstone. They're both great, but I kind of like the Indians and all that kind of stuff in '83, going back a few more years. Like, I'm more into that kind of stuff, kind of like way back when, you know. And Tim McGraw does a wonderful job. His wife Faith Hill plays the mom in it, and it's a really good show if you're not watching.
Is she? Which Faith Hill is in it?
Yes.
Is this a musical?
No, they're not singing. They're acting.
If
I was grading, I would give Tim McGraw A. I really think he's done an outstanding job. Faith Hill, okay.
Ben McDonald, television critic. Targac thrown out on the strikeout. Let me ask you this: if I've been kind of busy, but I think my schedule is going to open up. If I choose to watch one of those, do I need to watch Yellowstone first, or can I go with the prequel first?
Watch 8. You'll get a better understanding of why John Dutton at Yellowstone is so protective of his ranch, because he knows the history of his family and how the family moved across the country and the hardships they went through to get there. So if you're going to watch Yellowstone,
now,
which I
Dutton, I haven't seen, but
that's
he's
Kevin
a real,
Costner.
He's a real softy, right?
No. There are no softies, and if you say that again, you might get taken to the train station, by the way.
Taylor Smith with a swing and a miss.
No, watch 1883 first. You'll like that. It's just one season. You'll get through it knowing you in 2 days, and you'll be done with it, and then you can get into Yellowstone from there.
All right. Well, since I missed my flight, I'm going to have some free time tonight.
Well, if somebody tries to take you to the train station tonight,
do
not get in.
Okay.
No. It's a very bumpy ride.
Smith doubled and scored in the 5th. I've seen your social media posts. You have to have a brown drink to enjoy these shows?
100%. That's the only way to enjoy it. And sometimes there might be 2 involved. Because it is an hour-long show.
I mean, Costner, I thought he was a baseball guy. Of course, he's got his rock and roll band.
Yeah, I've been lobbying hard for just a guest appearance, but I just can't get anywhere.
Fly ball into right field. Barry, long run towards the line, comes around it and makes a catch. Right field, it's not just a job, it's an adventure. We're tied at 6. The marathon continues as we head to the home half of the 8th at the box.
Come in for workout gear. Leave feeling empowered. Come in for snack time. Leave more fulfilled. Because when you shop at Target, you leave with what you value most, like healthy foods for your family and brands that lift our communities. At Target, the things that matter are always within reach. What we value most shouldn't cost more.
Carvana's had a lot of firsts. 100% online car buying, car vending machines, and now putting you in control of your financing. At Carvana, get personalized terms, browse for cars that fit your budget, then customize your down payment and monthly payment. And these aren't made up numbers. It's what you'll really pay, right down to the penny. Whether you're shopping or just looking, it only takes a few seconds and it won't affect your credit score. Finally, a totally different way to finance your ride. Only from Carvana.
62 tabs open and no idea if you'll be approved for a good credit card. But you've overcome uncertainty before? Like when you weren't sure singing to the woman across the bar would get her attention. But getting approved for a great credit card? That's a different tune. With Karma Confidence technology, you can be more confident in your chance of approval for a great credit card before you even apply. Y'all really like this song, huh? Get the Money app where your hard work pays off and create your own karma. Credit Karma.
Tied at 6 between A&M and LSU as we move to the bottom of the 8th. I tweeted out a picture of the field that said, "This is March." Here's Mikey Matuk's response. I miss a lot about that place. The shadows are not one of them. It is not easy. Mikey at AAA with the White Sox.
Boy,
last year.
What an athlete Mikey Matuk was when he was here. I mean, go get it in the outfield. Big time pop. Fun to watch. Played baseball with a football mentality.
Good to see him back in the big leagues. Of course, when we were in Omaha a couple of years ago, and the Tigers and Royals played that major league game.
Yes.
He was playing in that game.
You know, and I love that. You know, I can remember going to Omaha as a college player at LSU, and that was, of course, AAA for the Royals. It wasn't the big league, but it was AAA. But you just felt like, man, I think I can do that. You go watch the AAA game before Omaha started, and it brought you closer and closer to the big leagues. You felt like, man, I might have a shot at doing this, you know. So I think it's important for the kids, you know, to have big league ball in Omaha. I think it's a big deal for all of them because it just doesn't feel that far away when the big boys are playing right in front of you.
Yeah. Here's Giovanni DiGiacomo at the plate, 1-2. But hold on a second. I know you're a television critic these days.
No, well,
but when you were playing, you were the number 1 pick in the draft, sinking line drive to center for DiGiacomo. You were destined to make it to the major leagues.
Yeah, but
how close did you feel? Like when did you first feel like you were of major league caliber?
My freshman year going to Omaha. And then we got to see the AAA guys play. I felt like, okay, this is really cool, man. Because I'd never been in a professional ballpark before. The only time I ever went to any pro game growing up was I went to the Astrodome a couple times. That was our yearly vacation when I was a kid. We'd go to Astro World to do the deal. And so you got close to AAA, and you just felt like, this is cool, man. But then, yeah, I mean, by my junior year, I felt like after the summer I had with the Olympic team, okay, I got a real shot at doing this.
A&M's going back to the bullpen. Do you remember who was playing at AAA for the Royals that game?
I don't remember. I don't remember who was playing. I can't remember one player, but I remember looking at it going, man, this is AAA baseball. This is only one step from the big leagues, you know. And it just felt like you were that much closer to it.
I got to one AAA game in Omaha as a youngster. My grandparents lived there, the old ballpark, and watched Steve Balboni playing for the Oklahoma City 89ers.
Steve Balboni.
That
Big
was
right-handed
after
slugger.
Yeah, it's after he had set the Royals single-season home run record.
I may have faced him early in my career. I don't remember, but
Chris Cortez. And it's not. Now, the funniest thing I'd ever saw Steve Balboni do, and he was a scout after his playing days and coached in the minors. And then last I saw him, he was with the Giants. And he was with on the staff of one of the minor league teams I worked with. And so we went out and played golf on an off day one day. And you know those exploding golf balls?
Oh, no.
Yeah, we snuck one onto the tee for him on what was a drivable par 4 for him, a big slugger. Said, hey, we think you could drive the green on this one. And he took a Steve Balboni type cut, and the thing just went poof. And he chased us down the fairway cursing because he almost threw his back out. Here's Chris Cortez, 10th appearance. He's 3-1 with a sub-3 ERA. What a fantastic human being. Steve, bye-bye Balboni. 11 strikeouts and 12 1/3 for Cortez.
Yeah, Cortez picked up the save on Friday night, went 1 2/3, didn't allow a hit or a run, and punched out 2. He was perfect. It's a big arm. Fastball will touch into the mid-90s, a tick higher from time to time. Changeup and a breaking ball.
The Twitterati think that your review of Faith Hill's acting chops are dead on. How did you describe it? I think you said, nah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's and I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'll throw on Judge Judy every now and then, but then I like 83 and Yellowstone. But yeah, I would give her a B-. But McGraw's really good, really good.
Here's Tyler McManus. You ever met Tim McGraw?
Yes, I have. And Faith Hill.
And yet you're being critical of her acting skills. And
just keeping it real, Tommy. Just keeping it real. B- is not a bad score.
Try to dig out of the hole you're in. She'll take you to the train station. Fly out to right for McManus.
Do you know how bad I would love the B- when I was in school? I mean, that's not a bad score.
Tim McGraw idolized Tug McGraw. Phillies won the World Series in 1980.
That's right.
Didn't learn until he was 11 years old that Tug was actually his biological father.
Wow.
Had his baseball card taped to his wall, bedroom wall.
He was a character, old Tug. I remember watching him when I was a kid. Reliever. I remember with the Phillies.
Yep.
There you go.
And in left field, well hit and tracked down by Dylan Rock.
Boy, that ball was melted. Joe Bear got every stitch of that one. And Dylan Rock, that ball slicing back to him just enough, and he runs this thing down. Certainly would have been extra bases, and Giacomo could have scored from first on this one. Pretty good read, pretty good jump by Dylan Rock. Now, I can't call the main actor in 1883's name the blonde, but she's a plus performance of her. Outstanding. You're going to love
Jennifer
the show.
Lawrence?
Yes, you're going to love the show just for her. She is.
Trey Morgan is a blonde.
Yes, he is. He doesn't look quite as good as her, though.
I would say, though, if you want to take this critic business seriously, you should remember the actor's name.
Yeah, that'd be a good starting point, probably.
Ground ball to the right side. Boss knocks it down but can't get to it. And LSU's got 2 on here in the 8th in a tie game.
Boy, Trey Morgan, his last 3 trips to the plate, 3 singles, including an RBI after an 0-for start. And how about an effort again by Austin Bose? He makes almost another outstanding play.
At the plate for the Tigers, second baseman,
Here's Cade Doty. He's hitting .519 with runners in scoring position. There's a visit from Taylor Smith to Chris Cortez.
Kind of the same situation LSU was in last night. Fought back, tied it up, had to go ahead run out at second base with 2 out in a tie ball game in the bottom of the 8th. Could not get it done, and A&M erupted for a big inning in the top of the 9th.
Pushed 4 across in the 9th. Pull out the win and win the series. Chris Cortez, freshman right-hander from Las Vegas, out of Silverado High School.
And the key in the SEC is not getting swept. You know, you're going to have a bad weekend, run into a hot team, but you hope to only lose 2 out of 3 in those instances. When you get swept, it gets difficult then. LSU came in highly ranked, a lot of expectations this year because of the pro prospects that are here. The big question mark was the pitching staff. You know, how good was the pitching staff?
Last year, LSU got off to its worst start in SEC play since 1969. 1-0 pitch. Fouled straight back. Guy in a white shirt thought it would come through the net.
Well, there was no doubt this LSU program had been on the decline for about 3 years. You go back and look, since 2018, LSU 45-45 in SEC play. Since 2018, just a 500 team.
One to Doty. We'll wait. Cortez is 6'1" righty, the 1-1 breaking ball. Nice pickup by Smith behind the plate. 2-1.
LSU's got their man at the plate. There is nobody else that Jay Johnson would rather have at the plate than Cade Doty right now in this situation with a chance to take the lead. He has been that good all year long.
Three and 1.
Careful here. Cade Doty can turn around a fastball. And if you're Cade Doty now, you're sitting on one fastball in the spot that you wanted. And if you get it, you get your swing off.
Doty's sitting on 6 home runs, 6 in the league in slugging coming into this one. 3-1 pitch. Missed his spot. LSU's loaded the bases here in the 8th. And they've loaded them for Dylan Cruz. LSU alum Sam Burns just won the Valspar Championship in a playoff. Had the lead going into 18, gave it up, won it in a playoff. Good for him. Here's Nate Yeski. A lot going on here for A&M. Bases loaded, but 2 out. And the first question was to Austin Bose, the second baseman. And now talking with the shortstop, Cole Kaler. We got pickoff move coming?
Pickoff move, defensive positioning to make sure they're in the right spots defensively where they need to be. Potential pickoff of Trey Morgan at second base.
Yep. What would that look like if this is what we're putting on?
It would probably be a sign from the catcher. Typically, the middle infielders are always looking in, and they got a pickoff move where maybe the shortstop jabs and pushes the runner back, but then as he gets off and gets back to his spot, the runner gets a little bit more, and the second baseman slips in behind. I don't think it would be an inside move because Morgan wouldn't be going to third trying to steal third. Obviously, would have made it third. So it's going to have to be one of those type. But it might have been defensive positioning more than anything because they're going to put Cruz slightly to the pull side, although he does have a base hit to the right side. See the second baseman, Austin Bose, playing just to the second base side of second base.
Just a hair. First pitch to Cruz. In for a strike, 0-1. Cruz had a single up the middle in the fourth. A couple of fielders' choices since then. Every time they put Bost up the middle, he's been in the right place. Remember, that's an outfielder playing second. Grounded to the left side and through. LSU takes the lead. DeGiacomo scores. Morgan coming home. Play there. Got him. And that'll end the inning, but not before LSU claims the lead with a Dylan Cruz RBI single. It is the first lead of the game for LSU. 7-6 through 8. A&M's last chance coming up. Cruz putting the Tigers ahead.
Yeah, just a bouncing ball through the left side. I love Dylan Rock. Watch this. Cannon comes up and throws a strike to Taylor Smith at home plate. Trey Morgan is out, but LSU has the lead as we go to the top of the ninth.
Dear MS, from day one, you've tried to define me.
But I never invited you in. It's my life.
And this is my journey.
I've found a way to do things differently with Ocrevus, an infusion treatment that's 2 times a year.
For adults with relapsing or primary progressive forms of multiple sclerosis, Ocrevus is proven effective in reducing relapses in RMS and slowing disability progression in RMS and PPMS.
Don't take Ocrevus if you've had a life-threatening allergic reaction to it or have hepatitis B. Tell your doctor about vaccinations or if you've had Hep B, as it could come back. A common side effect of Ocrevus is infusion reactions, and some may require hospitalization. It can increase your risk of infections, which can be serious and may decrease certain types of immunoglobulins. While PML was not reported in clinical trials, it could happen. An increased risk of cancer, including breast cancer, may exist.
Sorry, MS.
You don't get to control
Every part of me.
MS can't own us.
Ask your doctor about 2 times a year Ocrevus.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana, enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
LSU with its first lead of the game here in the finale of this 3-game series. Tigers trying to avoid a sweep. They've got Riley Cooper on the mound. First pitch, lined and snagged. Cade Doty only had to leave his feet. He didn't have to take a step left or right, and he climbs the ladder for out number 1.
I'm going to tell you, partner, you can't barrel one up any better than this. Just a rocket, but watch Cade Doty. Up the ladder he goes and robbed what probably was going to be extra bases. That ball might have got in the gap. Big time. Big time play.
So Cole Kaler coming to the plate. And a first pitch strike from Riley Cooper.
You know the boys from Denham Springs, Louisiana, got some hops.
Yeah, they do.
Except for me.
You were in the dunk contest one time. I've seen it. Been on YouTube.
I was.
Pitches in for a strike. Merrifield was in front of the bag at third. Now he'll back up. He's playing just a half step off the chalk, and they made a defensive change. Drew Bianco is now in left, and DeGiacomo has moved to right. Oh-2, Kaler. Chopper, tough play coming in. Merrifield let it bounce, fires, threw it away. Now breaking for second is Kaler. The throw from Morgan is there, and had him dead to rights. What a scene in the box. Trey Morgan, with a reputation as one of the best defensive first basemen in college baseball. And a fantastic reaction.
Tommy, this is big time. It was trouble off the bat. Merrifield does all he can do, but it's a bad throw. Trey Morgan knows. But watch this move right here. He slides and in one motion comes up, and watch the throw. A perfect throw to Cade Doty, who applies the tag. You can't do it any better than this right here.
And so Austin Bo's coming to the plate. Riley Cooper has thrown 12 pitches in his outing today. We weren't sure how much gas he'd have left in the tank, but those first 2 quick outs certainly help his chances of finishing this thing out.
No doubt, because he's running on fumes. I thought Raiselman gave it everything he had for his inning in 2/3. Riley Cooper trying to do the same thing. And tip of the cap so far to this LSU bullpen. You get one more look at this crazy play. A barehanded throw, and it's well up the line. And Trey Morgan realizes that Kaler's going to try to advance to second. And
what do you think
down.
about the decision for Kaler? It took almost a perfect play to get him at second.
I think it's fine because you hit the nail on the head. It took a perfect. If it wasn't perfect, he'd be standing there with the tying run at second base and only one out. And sometimes you gamble, you force the defense to be perfect, and in that instant, Trey Morgan was perfect.
LSU caught a break that ball didn't carry him all the way into the bullpen. 1-0 to Austin Bo. Aggies down to their last out after winning the first 2 games of this series. And they didn't trail in this one until the 8th. Bose has a 3-hit game going. Cooper's 2-0 is low and in. I think this might be the final batter for Cooper.
I think so. You can tell he's breathing hard and he's just trying to gut it out. Not very often you pitch in all 3 games on the weekend.
89 in for a strike. Popped him up, shallow center. Cruz has plenty of room. And LSU salvages a win and avoids a sweep. Huge win for Jay Johnson and LSU as they come back in the 8th.
Yeah, LSU puts across 7 runs the final 5 innings of the ball game to win this one.
7-6 our final for Ben McDonald, our producer Tom Schofield, our fantastic crew. I'm Tom Hart. LSU salvages 1 win. Now it's South Carolina Auburn softball with Amanda Scarborough. Here's Kevin Brown.
LSU is 15 and